from someone, I will like hunker down and actually move to the side, or if I'm like trying to dodge like shots or something, I'm kind of like dipping and diving left and right.
Oh, no, I missed it again.
I just have a higher vantage point to watch you all try.
Are you guys all going for the...
All right, one more time.
I really wish that my camera was loose.
Oh,
Was loose.
hey, there's bad
Like-
guys here.
It's linked. I don't know if can I get out of this? Yeah, I can just kill myself. Yeah, the photo taking camera is apparently locked to your character's movement, so when I go through the portal and respawn, the camera just jitters to the top.
Was there a ghost?
Well,
Oh, that was like some sort of effect. I get it.
You're jumping for it, Brian?
I'm gonna do one more time.
Go, Brian, go!
Where are you jumping from?
I'm jumping from, so I've been able to hit it like the first time. It's just when I go through it again, I think I don't actually even know where I appear.
I use that little extra ledge right there. Yeah, it kind of carries your momentum when you go through. Ooh, there you go, there you go. Oh.
I keep pressing back too far.
Yeah,
Do it again, I missed it.
you almost made it. Yeah, I need this
I can't
vantage point.
progress until everyone's in the portal.
We can't do anything
Who's
real.
hitting me?
We just can't do anything real at all, really.
Yeah, nothing. Go.
All right, all right. Oh, nope.
No.
Oh. All right. As soon as you go through, just take your hands off the controls and see if that works.
All together.
All together.
I think that's the problem, is that I'm not letting go of the controls. That would help.
Ah, too funny.
Okay, here we go. This is just a little old guy sitting here watching. This.
Just watching us kill ourselves by jumping off.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Good pastime.
Wait.
All right.
Stupid cute
All right.
slime.
There we
There it
go.
is.
There you
Okay,
go.
There it is. Got it. Endless falling. Achieved.
It feels good.
Who's...
Cool.
who's that?
Yeah, this is kind of cool.
Can't jump on that.
A little disorienting.
It is honestly a little weird.
I love how your little dragon doesn't know where to go. It starts to
Yeah,
dive with
exactly.
you, then goes back up.
Yeah, it just kind of yo-yos up and down up there.
Here. Let me see how I can do that. No.
Nothing up my sleeves.
Just gonna keep doing this.
Kind of weird. Your animation continues once you come out the top.
Yeah. I think
There,
it's
I got a
like-
video.
There, death.
Oh yeah.
All right, what do we want to do here? Do we want to do main storyline, or we want to do side quests?
I mean, I'm okay with anything, but given our ability to continually play this game, I feel like we should just play the story.
Yeah,
You mean
I'm down
actually
with that.
make some progress, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, just hanging out with y'all is
Yeah.
the
it's a
reason
fun
I'm
part.
That's
here
the real
anyway,
prize
but-
at the end of this journey.
Exactly.
Friends you made along the
But
way.
like, I also do like finishing games eventually, so you know.
Yeah. Also true.
Now get in
Yeah, you won't
there
get any
and
complaints from
whip
me.
that parasite's parasitic
And honestly, leveling up,
I'll get
you
out
know,
of there when it's over.
makes the game more interesting. Getting further, unlocking stuff.
Yeah.
Little mushroom
So
monster
that's-
awaits.
Content.
That's never bad. I don't know what the next story is, though.
Oh, I died.
Ballad of Bones?
My pants, they didn't work.
My pants of undying.
Wait, the pants of 1 HP?
Yeah.
You have a full HP bar on my screen. I think the pants are lying to you.
Mhm.
They must be. Mine says 1, and my lich says 0, but my mushroom's at full health.
Hmm.
Get out of here, Shroomlet!
Alright.
I just spawned here. What are you doing? Oh, come on. It's like a family reunion. Who
Oh, I
are
for-
you guys?
Oh, I forgot about your goo
Slow
cube.
down, yeah.
It's really annoying. It works sometimes, but most of the time
the
I'll
GameCube?
throw it and it bounces. Yeah, it bounces away from what I'm throwing it at. It's like, ha, psych.
All right. I'm trying to remember where we need to go.
The 1d20 was over here.
That's yes.
I think we have to go to the overworld whenever we're ready to.
Wait, what do we? Oh, I thought we had to talk to this dude. I guess not.
Oh shit. Nope, made it.
Do without a queen. Rule ourselves?
It's gone. It's not here anymore.
Heading that way.
I think this guy with the leaf beard stole it.
I may have opened this, but I thought I opened it before you mentioned the dice, so I thought it was a different one.
I don't know.
Enter. So it's the quest. Enter Ballad. Enter Wardtooth Shallows.
Yeah, so we need to go to the overworld.
We don't have to slide down this slide?
I mean,
Big slide.
oh, if you want to go down that slide, we can. It's not the main quest, but there is a thing down there.
But, oh, okay, well, hold on now. I know that we wanted to do the main quest, but didn't we spend the entire last session getting to the end of this quest? So we gotta finish this quest.
Oh,
yeah.
Ron
No, not
Riviati?
Ron. It was, it's the punch
Walk the stock?
father thing. Yeah, that.
All right, let's walk the stock. That is true. We spent
I mean, this is
we
this
spent
is like
an
the
exceptional
end
amount of
this
time.
quest.
Okay.
Set to fight a boss.
Mushroom boss. I forgot all my abilities.
Yeah, me too.
I don't remember anything I have.
Boing, boing, boing. Oh no, he's got me roped in something. Oh no! Ow!
Oh no.
My pants aren't immune to the mushroom ecto rope.
We found their limitation.
It's the one weakness. That and starch.
Oh. I need help. Maybe I can kill one of these little
Oh.
ones.
Ah.
I think I gotcha. Ow, ow. Gotcha.
Oh, now I'm down. It's alright. Come on, without me.
There's so many little guys.
Challenging. Right. Get that thing. That thing.
Oh, who's doing this to me? Who's doing this?
Oh, are you still down? Oh no. I thought you got back up.
It's alright. It's alright. Go ahead. Go on without me.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot of these little guys.
Oh man, I feel like you shouldn't have to reload when you spawn. It should just do that automatically.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should just come back as a full gun. It's kind of insult to injury. I just paid you like $600 to revive me, and you're not even gonna give me a full gun. Come on.
Just give me some bullets, please.
The least you could do. I literally died and came back. I mean, I guess the least you can do is literally saving me from death, but I'm American and I'm
This is
bitter.
true. Get him, Cube.
Have we already multi-classed on this? I think we have, right?
Yes, we have.
So hard to
That's
keep
a
track.
good question. I don't know if I have put my points in.
Get him, Cube.
Maybe I have.
Ah, that's you. This guy's kind of creepy. He's a mushroom, but
He
once you
is.
wear him down, he has a skull underneath.
He's just a parasite.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of confusing.
Just a typical parasite.
Yeah, you know, like those kinds.
They're the ones.
It's a really bad ones. Kind of big mushroom skull ones.
Yeah. It's filled with skull.
It happens all the time.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh
So-
man, I swapped the wrong gun.
It's gonna say something just
Hang on.
dropped out of the blue.
You gotta make this. What am I? Oh, I forgot all the buttons. You know what? We don't know what we're doing anymore.
A lot of buttons.
Did you drop this purple
Wait,
gun
what?
here?
Probably. Is it got the red ball shooty stuffs? Cause that's yeah.
Okay.
If you like it, you can have it.
Oh no, I don't care. I just wanted to make sure I'm not picking up stuff that.
Wait, who dropped? Did someone drop a gold?
Gold?
This
No.
one there.
Oh.
Is it
I
the
don't
murky
think so.
depths?
These golds are the skins. They changed the colors on them in the last update. Don't know why. It's very
Oh.
confusing.
No.
But all the skins and like cosmetics are now like a yellowish color.
What is
And I-
this?
Yeah, I think I lost it.
What did you drop?
Find me. I dropped a thing that shoots like red lava balls.
Oh, the lines or the gun?
That was the gun. That the name was the merciless lava baller thing.
Merciless Law. Let me make sure I didn't
Solid
pick it
name.
up.
It's like pew 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 pew, and then they shoot out.
There's
I'm sorry,
there's
guys.
a
I don't
load
memorize the
buster
names.
over here.
No, I don't think that's it.
It like shoots up.
That's not
Random
the one. Oh
I thought it was
man.
the gun that was right in front of you. Wasn't that one? Like a little purple SMG that said healing.
This one?
I don't know.
Presto!
Let's see.
Reloading.
Maybe it's on the
That's
ground.
okay. It'll. You know what? If it's meant to be, it'll come back.
What color was it? Was it a purple?
I think
remember
it
what-
was a purple.
Was it purple?
It's the one that I bought from the machine that was like 26k.
So literally all your money.
All my money. It's all right. We'll be fine, guys. I got this now. It's like that.
I found. Do you need an SMG? I just got a one that's good against armor, highly effective versus armor.
Oh, that's okay. I've got other weapons.
All right.
I'm just being silly and also like I totally just threw something away, which is very on brand for me.
Sometimes it happens.
I've definitely done that. I think my most like excruciating moment in this game was I had this really amazing spell and I loved it, and then right before a boss I accidentally sold it in the vending machines, but I couldn't go back. And by the time I made it back, it had reset its inventory and it was gone.
Oh man.
I was
Truly.
heartbroken is a soft word to
The
use.
beanstalk is safe. Thanks
Yeah,
to
that
you.
sucks.
Also the citizens.
We've all been there.
Right, them too. That's also good.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry, Zane.
Thanks for your help.
All right,
Remember,
I've emotionally recovered, but it took a little while.
With that, the corruption was
this
no
one?
more. And the fairy punch father was free to, go commune with other nature in different places and, let's be honest, probably punch stuff, because it's, kinda his jam. Quest complete!
Kinda his jam.
This one has the effect. I think that might.
New
See,
points.
is it like this effect?
Okay.
swallowing that wine was supposed to give me a ton of joy.
This one takes one.
Now we're
You just activate a portion of the damage taken by the Maker is
Huh.
directed to Demi-Lich.
Nice.
Whoa! What happened? I'm down.
Just make a.
You're-
Oh,
How'd you go down? I think. Oh.
I
right,
have
it's
no
still down there.
clue. I just something
something exploded.
happened and I was.
Looks
Yeah,
like there's an
something must have.
explosion here.
I was gonna say there are some barrels down there. You can probably accidentally hit or something. Maybe it was Peter.
I was in my menu.
was
You know what? It
firing
might have
it.
been. It might have been Peter.
It's always the cute ones that you don't expect. Demi-Lich,
how
you know to
dare
keep an
you.
eye on those ones. But the little mushroom guy who just kind of like wobbles around and follows you like a penguin.
He just bites everything. We've talked about this. Right, let's see here. Keep that
Alright.
one.
Ow. Whenever you guys are ready, I can teleport us.
Yes. sorry, just picking a new level.
Oh, so there are like these barrels.
Ow.
This probably explodes if it gets struck.
The ones in like the tentacle arms and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Okay, I'm all good.
Death is only the beginning.
Oh, I forgot I was supposed to melee. That's a thing.
That's your thing. Is
Yeah.
punching stuff.
That will help.
Mine is not, but I still just have an instinctual urge to just
Still need to.
hit things. I don't know if it's worth it, but it seems to work out.
Getting a real contains a shrine piece vibe from that dungeon over yonder. Look, poisonous seaweed blocks your path. Your quest is waylaid until you can find a way past it.
I don't know if that's a lot of money or not.
Help me advance science.
I forgot.
Miracle
I see
Grow.
your path is blocked
How do you
by
punch in this
poison
mode?
weed.
Right stick.
Usually not a problem if you can just swim
Oh,
over.
Oh, I see.
keyboard.
So,
I'm not
just
sure.
whatever melee is.
Alchemist alive.
Uh-oh.
But I punched him.
Not soon enough.
Oh, we haven't done a random encounter here, I don't
I
think.
was gonna say. Been a while.
Ow! Don't jam.
Oh, what up?
Ooh, I can turn people into sheep. I want that cube to like encase people.
I wish. I wish some people got stuck to it as it bounced around, like a Katamari or something.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Wow.
Ugh. Going from my like max level character to like end game content to level 14 is a humbling experience. Yes.
They just fell down the hole.
Will of them send you to me. Get ready to dance the hempen jig.
I do miss being able to turn people into sheep though. That's fun.
Man, some of these things look like they should be higher stats than they are, because they're just too cool looking.
Right? Like the sword of the unkillable gods, and it's like +2.
Right!
Yeah.
It does 4 damage.
Yep. It's like, but this white common sword that's like the rusty bastard's blade is better somehow.
Oh, gotta reload.
Oh, that's Peter.
Get him, Peter!
I tried to
I
kill
think all he's
Peter.
doing is making fun of them.
There we go.
I do that all the time.
Try to kill Peter.
Yeah. Get out of here. Stop picking the wrong thing, Megan. There you go.
Casting
Was
spells
a,
and loading shells.
Cool.
There you go, yeah. Loot ball. Giant metal loot thing. You ready to go?
1 second.
You're good? So has anyone watched any of Moon Knight yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah? What do you think so far?
I'm enjoying. It's not what I expected, but I'm enjoying it.
I will watch anything with Oscar Isaac, and I'm pretty sure I will love anything with Oscar Isaac there.
He's
Moon Knight,
amazing.
Moon Knight's good.
It is very good. I really enjoyed it.
The accent is very goofy, but
Yes.
like I've like made my peace with it.
I feel like it's almost intentionally goofy.
Just
You know
part
what I
of the
mean?
Experience. Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be obviously fake.
Right.
Which I'm 100% on board with. So, Brian, you said you haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I do wanna see it. It seems like it'd be interesting. Just haven't had a chance to
Yeah.
check it out yet.
Just trying to think of what is not a spoiler. But I think the thing I was gonna say is a spoiler. So I'm not gonna say it because
Yes, I appreciate. I mean, I
It's-
can mute myself for a second.
no,
if
no,
you
you're
want.
you're good, you're good. It's a very good part of the show that normally I don't enjoy, but it's been pretty good so far. And that's where I'll leave that.
I like the humor they've worked into this one, though I would say that this is one of the Marvel genre that is not meant to be a comedic journey.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, honestly. There's like again, this is not a spoiler. There's just more blood and violence than I
There
thought
is
there would
blood.
be. More than I would have
I,
expected.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that they're going like different style, like making it feel different like that.
Yeah, it's
Instead of
it's definitely got its
melting,
own vibe. I
seaweed
think.
turns to stone.
Well, that, and I'm liking that we're moving away from what would be, as much as I like all the heroes, but the mainstream like Avengers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think ever in my life we'd get a Moon Knight TV show, and I'm so
Right?
excited for
Yeah.
it.
that's
I
cool.
genuinely, until they started doing the PR run for it, I'd never heard of Moon Knight.
Retrieve it for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd never. I guess I assumed there was Egyptian stuff, but never. Didn't know about any of the heroes. I'm more of a DC guy, like historically.
Ah,
As far
gotcha.
as like
Historically.
comic hero. Well, obviously everyone's a
I'm
Marvel
a
person these
historical
days.
DC guy.
What is this campfire here?
You
Is
can't
this
not
like
be a Marvel person these days.
You really can't.
I,
It's what you watch if you go to
It's
the movies.
interactive.
It's a.
I read a
no,
Vice
adventure.
article today that was like quoted Ethan Hawke as being asked like about working on Moon Knight, and he was basically just like, yeah, in the 50s we had westerns, and these days you got Marvel.
Yep.
It's like, you want to do something that everyone's gonna watch, just join the Marvel.
You do a Marvel. Yep.
Plus, there's just so much to cover. You're never gonna run out of material.
Honestly, and even if one's a dud, most of them are not.
Right.
Unlike DC, where there's just as much content to work through, but they just can't nail it.
DC
They,
has the better animated shows, though.
They do. Young Justice and the original Teen Titans and all that shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, the
I
new
really
one.
loved just the Batman animated series was great. The
yeah.
one from the
Oh,
90s.
yeah, so good.
Oh, is that the one with like sharp Batman with like the red and
Iconic.
everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chonky but sharp.
Yes.
Another voice.
Those are like Saturday morning
Even,
cartoons right there.
Yeah. Well, even Batman Beyond and Static Shock, both of those were pretty great.
Static Shock is probably my #1 Saturday morning cartoon of all time. Something
a
about
good
that
one.
show, I just loved it.
It's got some of the best villains too.
Ugh.
Oh no, I'm out of bullets. Why did I switch to this?
It was so well done. Though honestly, if I'm tight, a very tight race. Did you guys ever watch Shaolin Showdown? With Jackie Chan? Or not
Yes!
Shaolin Showdown.
Chan?
The
Of
Jackie
course.
Chan Adventures.
You're talking. Yeah, Jackie Chan Adventures with the Zodiacs.
Yes, those little
Yeah.
little rock tokens. I wanted those
Yeah.
so bad. Like I wanted them to do a McDonald's line or something because I just
give me
wanted
the
those
token.
things.
Yeah, just need the token.
I'll spend all my
There is
allowance.
actually, I'll have to find it for you. On Etsy, where somebody not only made all of the Zodiac talismans, but they made a special mount for it that's just like the one in the show where it goes in the circle around the dragon.
Really?
I want it so bad for my house.
I just immediately want that. That's one of those things, like, there toys from my youth that I want are those rocks, like those talismans, I guess they were. Those rocks.
I need those rocks.
Those little octagons. And then, do you guys remember Pokemon did a McDonald's line of like Pokeballs, but you'd open them and it'd be like a little gold card that was like on a mount inside the Pokeball? I had those when I was a kid, and my mom ended up selling them on Facebook or eBay or something. And I have wanted one of those for so long.
Holy cow.
Oh,
I think I
got a
do. I
AFK
think my
for
sister
one
had a
sec.
few.
Try it out.
Not even AFK, just
I mean, if you're
stay at
just
keyboard.
if you're just grabbing it, or if you're just dropping it, I'll take it for sure. Snake stick.
Cleave. Next
Yeah,
stick,
I'm
okay.
down.
Thank you.
Oh, this stupid gun. Let's switch this. I don't want this.
Our relaunch tonight is much more stable. Still a couple issues, but
Hey, that's pretty good though.
a lot better.
Good.
Awesome.
Hopefully you'll be able
That's
to
gotta
sleep here
be-
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I assumed that's what you'd be
literally
doing.
just 9 to midnight.
Yeah.
Wait,
Honestly,
no,
that's what I
uh,
assumed you'd be
I didn't
doing
sleep
tonight.
at all the night before the first launch. Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe try to go to bed early tonight. We'll see.
I was gonna say, get sleep after 5 consecutive days of non-stop work, or play Wonderlands.
Yeah. You can sleep whenever. It'll be fine.
I mean, I also haven't played a video game in 5
Right.
consecutive
You
days,
see
you know.
before you.
That's a problem.
You have
So you gotta prioritize.
Yeah.
Could
You have
be useful
priorities.
if you whack it over.
You'll hear the essence of pure snot. Fight
Keith has
on.
been right there with me.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. Just like,
Yeah.
it's like midnight and we're just like, well, we're pretty tired. I guess I'll talk.
Yeah. Really, we should sleep. Yeah, it feels like it's got to be stressful. All that stuff going on. But it's exciting how popular it seems to be. Is it pretty rough? Brutal. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I remember launching the original one, and I was going to go on and check out all the comments and stuff, and I think it was Matt. He's like, just don't. Save yourself. Don't look at anything on there. It's not worth it. Yes. The loudest people online are the ones who are going to complain. No one goes, hey, I'm really enjoying this game. I should go online and tell them that I love it. It's a good idea. Try to drown out those negative voices.
And and I left a review, but I just like left it funny. I was like, if I was gonna rate this game, I would rate it on a potato scale, and then I like broke down what potatoes and why. And I gave them like a good review, and no joke, like 10 years later, they found me on Twitter, and started jumping in on all my streams back then, just because I
What?
left them such a good review.
That's awesome.
That is.
I think they were called Kentucky Fried Gaming.
That's pretty wholesome, actually. Like,
But they found
Yeah.
you after that much time too. That's so cool.
Well, you know, the potatoes I think did it, not
Yeah.
not the
Super
situation.
impressed
the
by
potatoes were memorable.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever left. I genuinely don't think I've ever left a review. No, I left one review. Not for a game, though. For a restaurant. Called
Oh.
Pino's.
Oh.
Pino's
not
is
good?
probably one of the greatest losses in my life.
Well, watch
Oh
out.
no.
Because Pino's, okay, it was a restaurant over by the Bills Stadium. And I did some work for the Bills after college. And whenever I would go there, I would get taken out by like one of the guys there, and he would take me to Pino's, which was like this down-home Italian restaurant. And they made what they call the Italian baked chicken. And that Italian baked chicken is the best meal I've ever had in my life. So, and it was so good that when you bought it, they gave you 2 helpings, and the second helping always came in a box because so many people ordered it to go after they had a full meal
Yeah.
of it that they just automatically included that
Wow.
with the price. And it was just absolutely spectacular. If I went to Buffalo with anybody, I took them to Pino's.
Had to be there. Yeah.
And it was an old mom and pop one, and they just got so old that they retired and closed it down. And it was,
Aw.
I drove there for, I think we went to a Vikings versus Bills game a couple years ago. And I'm like, all right, we're going to Pino's right after. It's going to be amazing. And we got there and it was all shuttered up. And I was like,
It's gonna be so hard.
I've just lost a loved one. And I
Oh,
don't know how to
no.
handle it. And
Just
to this
seems
day,
to-
I tell everyone who will listen about Pino's and the amazing restaurant that was.
Now I'm hungry.
I know.
For an Italian baked chicken.
Nope.
All right.
That sounds really good.
I so many times I debated tracking them down and asking for the recipe. But I thought that would be weird if I just called them out of the blue and I'm like, hey, you don't know
I
me,
mean, they might.
but I know you.
Yeah, the chicken's good.
And I know that Italian baked chicken, and I need
Your
it.
snot is close enough to smell. It will be heavily guarded.
So that was like.
I don't
a
think
custom-
that'd be weird. I think they'd be flattered. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I-
totally.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think they-
They'd appreciate it on some scale.
Now we're cooking.
Wish this thing was faster to load.
Go.
I had a place like that near where I grew up, like literally right on the corner of the street, and it was called Lena's. And it was mostly like an Italian sandwich shop, like a grinder shop.
Okay.
And I always got the same turkey grinder. It was delicious. It had like the right amount of cheese, the right amount of meats, right amount of oil and vinegar. It was just perfect. And like
That
I
perfect
would get
balance.
one of those a week. Exactly. I'd get one a week and I'd save it for myself on Friday if I didn't pick it up on Friday. And I'd eat it after work. And so I did this one day. I had to do a family thing, so I threw it in the fridge. And my brother Dave, he's like, well, I'm not gonna go. And I was like, all right, don't you eat my sandwich. And I show everybody because this happens to me all the time. And so I put it in the fridge, and we come home, and the sandwich is gone, and the wrapper's in the trash. And I'm like, Jade, you ate my sandwich. And he goes, no, I didn't. And I was like, you were the only one home. I showed you the sandwich. It was like all the evidence was there.
Yeah.
I did all the detective work. He denied it to the end. I was like, dude, that's a $7 sandwich.
That
Does
closure too.
does he still deny it to this day?
To this day, he denies it, but he smirks when he does it, which just makes me want to
Ah.
murder him. But it's
Yeah, that's fair.
And the worst part is, my mom's like, "Well, just I'll reimburse you. We'll get you another one."
Not the same.
But
the
I want
shop
it now.
closed the next day. The shop
Oh,
never
so
existed again.
That was the last sandwich.
That was the last turkey,
Oh.
Lena's turkey grinder ever.
That makes
Never
it
had
so
another
much
one.
worse.
It does. I
If someone
know.
had stolen
I'm
my
living it.
last Pinos, it would have been a blood feud. It would have ended with death somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere along the way.
Cause to have it in your hands, to smell it, to be looking forward to it in a matter of hours, to then know you'll never have one again.
To have it taken away.
What a horrible brother.
That's pretty bad. That's lifelong.
Yeah.
Oh, I still bring it up. Still bring it up.
I've had, I think over the past like 10 years, like an obsession with sandwich places. Any sandwich shop.
Yes.
Just automatically, that's my go-to food. To the point where most people at the office that we used to go on like food walks with, whenever they find a new sandwich place, they will tell me that there's a new sandwich place. Here it is. They make
I kind of
paninis.
forgot about that, but
Yeah. Caitlin
love
messages me all the time with that kind of stuff. Because I am sandwich obsessed, for sure.
Oh man, too bad I work far from the office.
Cincy.
I need to try these sandwiches.
Yeah, I know.
come have a sandwich, pick up your avatar crock pot.
Roy keeps going, "Hey, your crockpot's here." I was like, "I know." I think he waits for me to say something else.
I forgot whose that was until you just said that.
I forgot about
Is
it and
that
I had to
still
walk
here?
into like the Keith's office and it was sitting in there. I was like, oh right.
That's a thing.
That's
Christmas.
Keith's office. Funny.
I told Roy, I was like, "Well, I can't just kind of go and I need to have like a reason to drive
Right.
there now, because it's not just a couple
for
hours
my
away."
Right.
I'm gonna need the day off if I have to drive there to get the crockpot.
Take the day off to get the crock pot.
Yeah, it's an expensive crock pot. I feel like it would just be cheaper to just put it in a box and ship it to you.
Well, that's what they were going to originally do, and then he said, "We'll hold off because we're probably doing a work party," and they meant like the anniversary party, and it just kind of hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So
How many
I
years
think
are we
we're
up
still
to
kind of
now,
waiting
like-
to see if that happens.
15?
Out of spell slots.
That's what LinkedIn says, but I think they said that's not true.
I'm all patched now.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember it.
This is a
We
pretty
still
good
have-
gun. I think I like this one.
I hate these little crab guys because they hide underground and you can't shoot them. You gotta punch them.
Nothing up my sleeves.
How many of these things are there? But since we're talking about sandwiches, you know,
Yes.
there was this place.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, we can't deviate from such
We
a
can't.
important topic.
Anyway,
I'm very.
sandwiches.
I'm on a train of thought right now because I haven't had a good sandwich in a while. There was this place called Jitters outside college where they had some of the most like unique panini sandwiches I'd had up till that point, and I loved them. And I could walk there from the college, and I would go there all the time. But I swear to God, they had the worst management I've ever seen. They would just be closed random days. They had no set schedule, so they would just be open whenever they felt like opening. And then they would close at like 1 in the afternoon or open at 2 p.m. or something like that. So you never knew when they were going to be open. And eventually that definitely killed them. That was, surprise, surprise, not a good business strategy.
I feel like that's a lot of college sandwich shops.
Yeah.
I had sorry, another weird sandwich story. I had a sandwich order at Pita Pit, which I love Pita Pit,
Pita Pit
and my
is great.
sandwich was 4 days late. It was
Wait,
Days
what?
late.
it was a delivery and it was 4 days late, and then they
Oh
made
my-
me come in and get it. And it was
What? It was still like
What?
they had made it 4 days earlier.
I had placed the order for like, it was something where it was another Friday sandwich to look forward to after classes in college.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, it's gonna be at 4:30. I'm so stoked. I'm gonna have an early dinner and have a great weekend. And I'm waiting. Like finally, it's like 6 p.m. and I'm calling them and no one's answering. And I finally get someone to answer. And it was some kid. He's like, oh, we're sorry about that. We'll make it right now. And it just started to be this roulette of call, sorry, back and forth.
Yeah.
And finally, like, I realized the manager's not even there. I end up going in the next day, and he's like, yeah, that guy was actually fired. He was drunk. We're sorry. And I was like, I don't think you're supposed to tell me that he was actually drunk. I
Yeah.
think you're just supposed to, like, refund me. And he's like, well, tell you what, come in tomorrow. The real manager will be here, and we'll get you a free sandwich. And I was like, but I already paid.
Yeah, what?
It's not free.
Free
I
sandwich.
still haven't gotten the first
Yeah.
one.
And I was like, dude, I'm in college. Like, I will fight for $5. I'll just
Yeah.
keep coming back. And so he's like, all right, for serious. Like, he's going to be here tomorrow. So I go in tomorrow. They make me the free sandwich and they give me a voucher, but the whole process took like 4 days to get my replacement sandwich.
So ridiculous.
Still good. I love Pita Pit.
That's
it's
a
lot.
commitment. And Pita Pit is very good.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
solid, always a solid pull.
Let's see here.
I realized I was muted. I don't think I've been to a pita pit in quite a while.
Yeah,
It's
been
been a
while.
couple years,
Totally
yeah.
go.
There's one around. It's not, well, somewhat.
There's one in Henrietta,
Henrietta,
I
I think.
think.
Yeah.
Close enough.
What's this? Pew. Let's try that. What does this do? Is this what I want? Maybe.
I mean, I'm just on the food train now, thinking about all these places I miss.
Do it.
Whenever I go somewhere,
Live your
I
best life.
usually judge where I am and like how much I like it by what food I eat there. And one of the best places I've eaten was we went to Washington D.C. We wanted to tour all the Smithsonian, so we were there for a couple days.
Oh yeah.
We were there for like a week and we didn't get to see everything. But there's this place called, I think it's called Sweet Fire Donna's. And it's this little place we just happened to walk up to, and they sell pulled pork and like vintage Cokes, like vintage bottled like sodas. I don't think they're Cokes. I think they're all like off-brand Cokes you've never heard of. But it was so good. Like that whenever anyone talks about where should we go, like what are we doing when we're there? I'm like, you're going to Sweet Fire Donna's, and if you don't, I'm gonna fight you. And while you're there, you're gonna bring me back. You're gonna bring me back a dish of Sweet Fire Donna's, even though you're not coming back for like 3 days. You're gonna put that in the fridge, in your hotel, and you're gonna drive it back to me.
That sounds delicious. I love pulled pork. I love everything.
Oh yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. It all is
Yeah. Everything's delicious. Dang it.
Food.
I'm really hungry. Should probably get a snack at some point.
I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but normally when I game with you guys, I have a snack.
Yeah.
And you guys always hear me
good.
chewing.
Yeah,
and
where's,
it's like
where's
weird
your
to.
countries?
I had dinner, and then I went and I ate a
You
half
don't-
gallon
you
of
don't
ice
eat-
cream.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
It was quite a bit of ice cream that I'm gonna pay for.
Eel of ice cream.
Dude, when we went to one of those soft serve places where you just keep filling the cup, and then they weigh it, and we put it on the scale, and we went, oh, it was so big. And I was like, I'm so sorry, Jen. She's like, I just paid $20 for ice cream.
They
Those are
charge you by
always
the
so-
weight of the ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of people like me, I guess.
That is a legitimate ice cream shop. Or it's like, just
They
grab
used
a
to just
bucket
charge
and
you for
start
what-
scooping.
Well, that's it. Like, it used to be the cup. Like, you would just get billed for the cup. And so, of
Yeah.
course, like, kids pack it in, I pack it in. You know, just
Of
get in the
course.
kid line and keep shoveling in the gummy bears. Totally worth it. But now it's
Isn't
the
really
weight.
related to self-serve, but my sister like consistently will just open the website for like an ice cream shop in Poland that she likes a lot. That she
And
like
just,
went
like,
to
get us-
once and is just like looks at their flavors of the week or whatever, and I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
To like claim reward points or whatever from logins, and I was like, okay. She's like, I'll be able to get a shirt eventually. I was like, okay.
But you'll never
That's
have the ice cream
awesome.
again.
Actually, getting a shirt.
Yeah, well, I mean, she'll be back over there.
Alright.
Yeah.
Her husband is Poland, so. But like, still, it's not something that's gonna happen often.
Yeah. Not often enough to visit the website every day.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of an upset.
That's one of the places on my bucket list too, is Poland.
really?
Yeah. There's like a little punchki place there with an old lady who, like when her shop's open, she just puts her stool out and sits outside the shop, and that's how people know it's open. But I've watched way too many videos of her staff making the dough, frying the dough.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
Wow.
oh, that's
Not
a
to
good
talk
dough shot
down,
there.
not to talk down Poland at all, but I don't think I've ever thought to myself, I want to go to Poland.
Yeah.
Hey,
Really?
Poland's good.
I just don't know anything about Poland.
It
I
is
know
a
Sounds
very,
like
very
your
great
problem.
art capital.
It does sound
and
like a
it's
me
becoming,
problem.
It's actually becoming a food capital now.
Well, that
Just saw that, like, what was it? Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, Poland and Singapore were at the top.
Poland and Singapore were at the top for food.
For food.
Guess I've never really
Wow,
thought about
is that
going to
bazooka?
Singapore either.
Oh, I would love to go there. Saw this thing, I think it was Andrew Zimmern, and he was just like working his way down the food stalls, and I was like, I could do that. I wouldn't even have people pay me, just like cover the food.
Yeah.
Let's see, let's do this one. Just see what that looks like.
I think all I know about Poland is that every time we go to Morgan's family reunion, that's the food we eat, is just Polish dishes. And that's the extent of Poland for me. And that's just, you know, that's the end of it.
Vince
Sounds about
hates
right.
Polish food.
Yeah.
He hates Polish food.
He just is like unreasonably disappointed in the lack of flavor that pierogies have, which isn't even true because they have
Right.
good flavor. But like,
Yeah.
I gotta
that's
say,
what he
I
always
gotta
brings
say, I'm on Vince's side.
up. Get out of here! I think I remember this.
I
This sounds like a conversation I've had. I'm getting
The
angry.
thing is,
It does sound
yeah,
like a
you've got to get the
conversation.
real ones though.
I gotta say, I've never had
can't
a
just-
real pierogi. I've only ever
If
had
it's the
like
ones from the box
microwave.
that are
yes.
just- Yeah, the potato cheese, that's not it.
That's
not it, guys.
that is, and I 100% acknowledge that. I admit I've never had a real pierogi, but I can say that the box ones are trash.
I will eat
The
any
best I get are from the Polish market in Cleveland, or there's one frozen brand you can get. I think it's Durdix or something, but you've got to get the sour red cabbage with pork. That's the best pierogi.
Sour red cabbage with pork.
Oh,
Wait, it's
wonderful.
inside the pierogi?
Yeah, pierogies are just Polish dumplings. You can get them any flavor.
I thought they only came with like mashed potatoes and stuff in them.
No, that's the grocery store.
Okay. I need to expand
a
my
grocery
palate a
store.
little bit.
Yeah, they come in all kinds of flavors.
I guess
know,
I'm a
I
little
would get it from this really
Polish
old
blind.
lady, and she. Well, that's okay. I mean, again, it's not really marketed well, is it?
It's not. I don't hear anything about pierogies ever. Other than on, what is it? Is it St. Patty's Day?
Scorching smite!
No.
What?
Or New Year's,
talking
is it?
about?
Is it New Year's that you do pierogies and that's a Polish thing, isn't it? At least that's what
I mean,
It
Morgan's
is, but
Polish
you're thinking
family
punchkis
does.
in spring.
I'm thinking
Because
what?
everybody goes nuts for, You're thinking the punchkis in the Easter time that everybody goes nuts for, which are like
think-
donuts.
I think, or maybe it's a. I know we have like it's a family thing that they do pierogies for like New Year's or something like that.
Yeah, lots of families do that, where they all roll them together and stuff.
I haven't actually made them already.
Yeah, maybe they'd be better that way. Honestly, they'd be worse. Let's be real.
Honestly, yeah.
I would not make a
Try
good
this
pierogi.
bazooka.
I think to make any good food, you have to have at least had a good version of that food one time.
I could just see you like trying it and be like, yeah, that tastes like what I don't like. Grody.
Probably definitely helps.
Yeah, to like at least one version of it. Oh no. We're dying.
I used to think forever that I hated zucchini until I actually had good zucchini.
Ugh. There is a world difference between bad zucchini and good zucchini.
Yeah, like
There is.
Rubbery, squishy zucchini versus like a nice, crisp, like... Oh, when we were down in Florida a couple weeks ago, one of the fancy dinners we had, they had like zucchini chips. And they were... Oh,
Yes.
it was an appetizer for the whole table, and I probably ate half of it.
I'd eat it.
I love zucchini
oh
chips.
yeah. Wait, like they were like slices, or is it like like actual like potato chip style?
Yeah, they did like a potato chip style thing where they like dehydrated them and then baked them with
Sounds good.
spices and cheese on top, and it was very good.
Do you know why are some of the health bars gray?
So red is for like, I guess it sounds weird to say, but flesh, like skin. So it's weak against fire. Gray is for bone.
Red is for blood.
Red is
Gray
for blood.
bone. Yeah,
Gray is for bone. Blue is for magic shields, I guess, or some shit. So if it's gray,
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
weak
that
against
ends up-
ice.
Just keep thinking, bone damage. It's my
Bone
bones.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Got
my
it.
meat's okay, but my bones.
You gotta damage them bones.
Whenever you break your arm, that's because you took bone damage.
It's a real problem.
My flesh is fine, guys. It only hit my bone
Oh
bar.
damage. Bone bar.
Oh, you guys really don't have to let me play. It's okay.
Talking about.
Megan was telling me about, before you guys got on, about her favorite drink.
Bone bar.
Oh, yeah. I said it so fast I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, yeah, I just got... What did I say?
I just got
said
2
I'm all full of
squirts.
squirts.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Say again.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that.
I said, oh, yeah, I got 2 squirts. I'm all full of the squirts today. It was
I'll
just-
say it again.
But I meant, yeah, diet squirt grapefruit pop.
Grapefruit.
Is this the snot you needed?
Pop.
Oh,
eh?
man.
Perfection itself.
Yeah, pop.
With this, I
That's
can complete
correct.
the solution.
Soda would imply seltzer, which is unflavored.
But what does pop imply?
Yeah.
Use
Eh, it's just short
Snap
for soda
crackle.
pop.
kelp solution on the sea.
Just sure.
It's my Rice Krispie drink.
Greatest alchemist
So if it's short for soda pop, then soda is okay.
Yeah, then soda is also short for soda pop. I don't think I've ever had anyone go, hey, you want a soda? And I went, nah, I'm not really into seltzer.
Seaweed melts away, clearing the path.
Fizzy Milkins.
Whenever people debate it, all I can think of is that lady's like, I went inside to get an ice cold pop. She's being interviewed by the news because
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy broke into her house.
Wait, is that the Ain't Nobody Got Time for That?
I think it's part of that clip, but this is
Yeah.
the lady who goes first. I was asleep and I woke up to get an ice cold pop, and the house was on fire.
Pointless quest.
That's why it's ice cold.
Traipsing through the wasteland they
It's
made,
important.
crushing priceless coral reefs under their boots.
The exposed seabed
I mean,
reveals
I'll present a third option. I don't call it soda or pop. I just call everything Coke.
Well, that's just wrong.
What?
I know.
The worst of
Is-
both worlds.
It's
Is one of you
terrible.
drag racing right now?
Oh yeah, someone over here is.
Was
Okay.
that wait? Was that real?
Snappy comeback.
Yeah.
That's just
You get that at your
Someone
house?
over there. Sometimes at night, yeah. It's like,
Damn.
Oh, poor Brian.
I mean, it's I don't doesn't bother me.
You know, the city actually has a pretty legit, like, racing scene.
I heard, yeah, I think I heard that.
Yeah,
somehow.
it's pretty legit. I used to work at a pizza shop, and the delivery guys were part of it. And it's like such a legit thing that they have pacers who will like spread out down the highway and like prevent cars from like being on a certain stretch, and then they'll race down that stretch of highway. And if any cops show up, they'll they have escape routes and shit in place.
That's crazy.
It's legit, and I will tell you, I did when I did training for my delivery driving, I rode along with one of those guys, and they have. I'm not a car guy, but it was pretty amazing.
Really cool, yeah. Do I want this or not? No.
We just always had to deal with, not so much here because we're on like an actual cul-de-sac now, but at our last place, because it was the main road that goes along the lake and it was right near Pennsylvania, we'd get all the Erie bike clubs, so it'd be motorcycles every night from 9 to 11.
Oh yeah.
It's horrible.
I feel like, well, yeah, you might not get used to it after a while. I was gonna say, like, in terms of like the cars and stuff, like we don't usually, like, our last house wasn't like near a main road. This one's kind of, but like after a while you kind of get used to the cars coming and going. But like obviously if there's like a car peeling out, that's gonna be, it's kind of like something you don't really get used to. But it doesn't happen very often, honestly.
Sell some stuff.
I gotta sell a little bit of stuff here and then it should be good to go.
Oh, I should probably do that too, actually.
If it's
Taking
under
lots of
200, it's
pictures.
getting sold.
Yeah.
Not even looking anymore.
I've played this game so much, and I genuinely have only ever thought about the weapons score the 2 times you've mentioned it, which is awful. Like
That's probably better. Like
Yeah.
I've read some stuff that with people saying that it's actually not super accurate. Like it'll rate a weapon with higher zoom as like a better gun.
and that's
Just
awful.
by points if all else is the same, and it's like that isn't necessarily true.
Right.
I don't think I ever ADS in this game. Well, I might with like an iron sights, but if something's like a 3-time zoom, I don't think I ever ADS. I love how I said that, and as I said both of those things, I pulled out a gun with both of those scopes on them and realized, no, I definitely ADS with this thing.
So these.
Bullets beyond counting.
I feel bad for like the server team because like I don't know, it just feels awkward to like work with contractors on.
Yeah, it's a lot of overtime. You need them, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. There's always the almost not insinuation, but the almost the expectation or the assumption that, you know, when it's your project or your full-time salaried position, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be committed to all the extra shit you have to do. You know what I mean? But if you're not, if you are from outside, like Denny there, it just feels weird, you know, to have the extra hours. A lump sum. He is a very good guy. I've really enjoyed working with him. And I was very happy when he came into the office for the chicks. Steve's chicks. You know, the reason everyone comes to the office. He does some good work. I've been really impressed with all of it. You? Yes. A lot of indecision. Dragging it out a little bit. Yeah, no, they're great. And very understanding, which is always nice. So Brian, how's your project going?
It's going well. I've been mainly focusing on like doing some level design, just like creating an environment, like a zone.
Sure.
So I've been working on that for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I have like a rough like design layout that I'm really liking. So I'm hoping to move over into like more combat-y type stuff. Probably starting tomorrow, so it's gonna be interesting, kind of figuring that stuff out.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been checking out any Unreal Engine?
So I haven't looked at it yet. I'm probably gonna for this game. I'm pretty locked into using Unity 2019.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty like low. I'm going for like a pretty low fidelity aesthetic. So Unity, especially the Unity universal render pipeline, is pretty. It does basically everything I need it to. So
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just something I know how to use.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're familiar with it. You're not learning
It's
a
kinda
whole new
nice.
tool.
Yeah, exactly. I do definitely. So I am creating my assets in a way that in the future it can technically be used in Unity. Apparently, there's like a certain way that you like define collisions and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
About how you like name tiles and stuff. So I'm being like aware that it could be an option in the
Awesome
future,
jaw
but
shall chop.
Yeah, yeah.
it's in the Unity design thing. I do. What is it? What's the multiplayer demo name? Do you remember what it was?
Oh, it's like a name, isn't
Player
it?
demo?
Yeah, it's like a. I forget what the name of it is, but it's basically it's like a demo that
Bar?
has like. It's something like that, yeah.
I gotta look it up now,
It
or it's
has
gonna bug me.
I know. It's
But-
basically a working multiplayer game that you can just like start from like baseline, and then you can just yeah. So it's really useful. You can just like basically tweak a bunch of stuff, make your own levels, add your own like gameplay mechanics, and then you have like a working multiplayer game. So that's like, if I had the time, I mean, I have the time technically to like learn Unreal, but it's feasibly like a ways away. So I think it's probably gonna be where I'm gonna start learning, is like taking a look at that. But
Yeah. Man, I don't know why I can't find it. Just Googling it real quick. It's like Lardna or Laudna or
Lardna
it's
is a good
definitely
name.
not Lardna. That's I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and count that one out. That feels
That's such a good name.
How did that not just pop up? Come on.
Octopirate.
UE5 multiplayer thing.
I was actually checking out. I don't know if you guys saw the. Is it called King Arthur? Maybe. Oh yeah, King Arthur Knight's Tale.
Oh, I
It's,
think I did see that.
It looks cool. It's like a turn-based fantasy game.
I'm just getting started.
But it's like top-down, so it's like Final Fantasy Tactics kind of.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting. It has really good reviews too. Kind of want to check it out.
Arthur Knight's Tale. Is it out already?
I
Oh,
think it came
okay.
out days ago.
I
something
think
like
I've
that.
seen some stuff about this.
I honestly hadn't seen it before today. I saw someone on Twitch playing it, and I just like checked it out, and it seemed kind of neat.
Yeah. I think I saw a little bit about it, but nothing, no like details or anything. Where are we supposed to be
I
going?
might wait a little bit, just do a little bit more like research and stuff, but
Yeah.
it seems there's not a ton of games out like that, so I think it'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
It's
And,
like a
really,
real-time, more turn-based strategy, or
so I think it's kind of like it's like top-down exploration game with a party, and then when you go into battle, it goes into like a turn-based mode. But it's like an XCOM style
Okay.
turn-based.
so kind of like a what was that one? Not Out West. It was kind of one of the games that inspired a lot of
Yeah,
those.
the new one. Was it Weird West maybe?
No, not Weird West. It's like it's an older game. The sequel just came out,
Oh.
where it's kind of like it's like a XCOM type game. Oh, my buddy would know this immediately. He loved it. It's like a XCOM style game, but it's like the one that they were all based off of. But it's like a
interesting.
Western game, where it's like,
Like a
post-apocalyptic. Yes, Wasteland.
Wasteland?
Wasteland
Yeah,
2.
that one is really. Yeah,
Wasteland 1 was like one of the games that kind of popularized that whole XCOM genre.
I played Wasteland 1 on Commodore 64. Like it was like the original one that was like ASCII.
Yeah, super, super old.
I,
I
don't
mean,
think
not,
that one had
not,
like the
not that old.
Yeah, the new ones have like a. I think they're more like turn-based, like you're saying, because like the original one was like, you just had like a list. It was almost like the battle was just a bunch of words that were going by, like descriptions, and you just
Yeah.
had like a little profile side.
I think the new one is the one I'm thinking of that came out in like maybe 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
That's very much that XCOM style turn-based encounters but in between you're exploring like from a overhead view.
yeah. I heard 2 and 3 are both really good. They're just, I think there's like lengthy games because the turn-based stuff takes a while, but
Yeah.
it seemed like it's like really fun.
Yeah, definitely
it's like
tens of hours.
I require passage through this gate. Aye, ye be wanting to just waltz
Oh.
right through the gates of the briny shell, are ye? Will ye be speaking to Bones Threewood, cursed protector of the Southern Gate, and I say, sure. Ah, how
Sure.
suspiciously uncomplicated. Of course it'll do ye no good. The Nerpen Gate is guarded by a vengeful, murderous, gorgeous buccaneer known as Chartreuse LeChance.
I love that
He'll
name.
never let ye through.
I want that to be my next D&D character name.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse LeChance.
It's a pirate quest!
Valentine, do you want to go on the pirate quest?
Oh, I really, really do. Ha-ha! Welcome to the crew! But there'll be no pirate quest without Polly, me faithful bird Munculus. A terrible fate befell her, and we be needing to put her pieces back together.
So, no tricks?
Beware, crew. The sea wargs are restless since the ocean were obliterated. You don't want to run afoul of Moby Dick, Major of crews, scourge of salt and sand.
Mowgli Dick.
Friendly advice.
Oh no.
That pirate you're throwing in with
So,
doesn't have a loyal bone.
I've had Moby Dick, like the book, on my shelf for like years, and I've never read it. And it's always been one of those like showpieces because it's a really nice bound edition of it. And it just looks good. I'm like, whatever, I don't need to read it. Well, Morgan now works at the school that we went to school together at, and so she knows my old English teacher, who I really looked up to when I was in school. He helped me get into writing and everything. Well, guess who showed up at my house randomly one day? Was my high school English teacher.
No way.
So yeah, he's just wandering around the house, and I'm like, well, fuck, what? This is weird. And he walks over to my shelf and he goes, oh, Zane, you have Moby Dick. I love this book. It's one of my favorites. What's your favorite part? And I was like, yeah, so here's the thing.
No.
Oh no.
That's what we call a shelf piece. That is
Yeah.
that is
For looks only.
that has never been read before. It's probably never even really been opened. And he just kind of looked at me and he kind of shook his head and he goes, that's a shame. And I'm like, that hurts. That is the most disappointment anyone has ever felt in me. Probably since I was in school. And now I feel just this like unending urge to read that book. But also
You have it, right?
the greatest ambivalence to actually starting it.
Right, yeah.
I don't think I've ever read the whole thing. I think I've just had to read chapters or excerpts for different classes.
Sure.
But what I read was very good.
I mean, they made a Chris Hemsworth movie out of it, so it can't be bad.
Did they really?
It's
I mean,
a lot of suspense.
Heart
yeah.
of the Sea or something like that.
Huh.
I think you're
I
right.
never watched it, but I mean, it's Hemsworth as like a kind of piratey, captainy guy, so I'm sure it was good.
Yeah.
Come along now, my little Ember.
The concept of sharks that can go through dirt is a particularly terrifying one. Like, sharks that can just swim in the ocean are... That alone is enough to make them like a perpetual nightmare monster. But imagine if they could just, you know, pop up in the middle of the forest, or just walking home one day and a massive shark popped out of the ground.
That would be horrifying.
That would
I'd be
be-
so straight, like, just never get my mail ever
Right?
in house.
Hide inside all of
It's basically Tremors. You
Yeah.
guys watch Tremors?
Oh my god.
Every
Tremors is
single
so
one.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
It's
it forever,
basically if
really
Tremors
should.
was real.
Yeah.
I mean, the sharks aren't
Oh.
real either, but...
Oh no. Thought I could kill him.
Where's my bazooka?
Oh, no wonder these guys are so hard. They are decently higher level than we are.
I wonder if this place expects us to have leveled more by the time we got here.
I think so. But there's 4 of
Not
us,
that
so
far
we're
behind
surviving.
Yeah.
Well, there's
only
3
a
and a half
couple
of us, so we're surviving.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, out of ammo, out of ammo.
Special. Get out of here.
Megan, you said you've been playing other
Get him,
stuff
Andrew.
in between rounds of Borderlands here.
Yes.
What else
I've
have you
been playing
playing?
a lot of Hot Wheels.
Hot
Tons
Wheels?
of Hot Wheels. I got so many cars now, you guys.
Is that
so
like
excited.
More recent one?
is that like a racing game? Yeah.
Yeah, I have the PS5 version of Hot Wheels. I think it's Unleashed, and
like-
it is really good. But I can't play. I have to play it on easy mode because it's so challenging. And I was not ready for the increase in difficulty between this and like some past games for like the PS2 and PS3.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jen and I like almost rage quit because we were like finishing 11 and 12, the two of
Wow.
us, do it like against the robots. It was really bad. So we put it on easy, and it's like still challenging but also enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's just it's a shame that the gap is so huge.
you
It's
race
weird that
Hot
they
Wheels?
Make it so
It's like virtual tracks, and you can collect cars and like do unboxings if you get enough like in-game currency.
That
And you
sounds
cover
amazing.
this map. It is. It's. I don't know if you do that. Like I used to love all the Micro Machines games,
Yeah, yeah.
and the Hot Wheels have been like hit or miss, but this one's awesome. I've got the toilet bowl car. I've got a bunch of like the retro cars of the future. A
That's
few of
cool.
the DC Legend cars.
So this
I'm
is
trying to get all the
unboxing
dino
like
cars.
in game, or do you
Yeah,
get like
it looks
real cars?
kind of like I looked in the store because someone said that you can buy cars and then scan them and it goes in the game, but I don't think that's true because I've not found any that are actually compatible.
Yeah.
But you get like in-game coins, or sometimes just via a race you can win a loot box, and it's really cool because it's like a little tackle box and you open it and you don't know what you're gonna get.
Sure.
And
that
if
was
you get a
fun.
duplicate, yeah, if you get a duplicate, you can upgrade other cars or just scrap it for parts, kind of thing.
That sounds pretty legit.
It's just fun.
Does the track
I
you're
try to do
racing
the build
on,
your own.
does it look like the old like Hot Wheels tracks?
That depends. Some do, and then they've added like cool gamey features like magnetic tracks where you can go at various angles and stuff and still stick to it.
Sure.
And with the new controllers and everything, it's very like tactile, so some tracks feel smoother than others and others less
cool.
smooth.
Like,
So you can
more
like upgrade your
grippy.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel the grip, basically.
That's
I
pretty
really like
legit.
it, but Jen gets so bored because I make her sit there and I'm like, all right, these are the new cars I got this week, and I go
Yeah,
through
Yeah,
them
show
all.
off. Yeah.
And I was like, this one was a real one. You could buy this one in the 90s, and then I tell her way too many Hot Wheels facts. And then what else?
Her eyes start to glaze over.
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
love it.
Being supportive while also dying inside.
Yeah.
I know
I
that
was like,
look.
this Ninja Turtle variety is actually from the 2000s. It's not my favorite turtles, but you know.
Dude.
Let's see, what else did we play? I got Rustler, which is supposed to be like GTA if it were medieval times.
Ooh.
And-
Wait, that sounds good.
It does, but I'm undecided. Like,
It
I'm
is
still kind
actually.
of technically in the tutorial, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've
Still
stolen
learning.
like a knight's horse and repainted it and sold it, and
That's
You
cool.
done a few
repainted
of the
a horse?
fighting rings. Yeah, you
Killed the
like
horse,
dye the horse,
sold it.
and then you get it new ceremonial robes, so it doesn't look like the knights that you just stole it from.
Great.
Then you resell it.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
legit.
That's all the game really needs to be.
Yeah, that sounds like an entire game by itself for sure.
It's
Just
great though, cause
resell
like
it.
halfway through, your mother will like yell at you, and you have to go plow the fields, and then you can get back to playing the game.
That's really cool. I don't think I've even heard of what's the game called?
It's called a Rustler,
Rustler.
which
look
to
it
me
up.
sounds more like a Western name.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, pew, pew, pew. Let's
Move them to the side. Oh, we
Nothing
just
up my
played
sleeves.
Sackboy Big Adventure. Oh yes, it is Hot Wheels Unleashed, not Unlimited. And I was gonna get back to Horizon. Because I have to finish the first game so I can play the second.
Oh,
I've
Horizon
heard the
Zero
second
Dawn.
one's good.
I've still never
Need to
played
play
the
more of
first
the
one.
second one.
It's really good.
I've only ever heard good things, and it's sitting over there on my shelf. Just wait. It's already installed. I've just never gotten around to it. No good excuse.
Do you like the Red Dead games?
I tried Red Dead 2. And I don't know what it was about it. I didn't make it through the intro.
I did the same thing.
The intro is horrible. The intro
I was
almost
gonna
stopped me
say.
from playing the game.
I've heard that, and I knew that, but I've never gone back to give it a second try. So I don't think I have a good opinion.
I was gonna say, Horizon so far reminds me of just a very cool sci-fi fantasy version of Red Dead, because it's a lot of the similar gameplay styles and mechanics.
Okay.
But that's why I love it, because I love Red Dead 2, but I don't know why or how I stuck with it other than friends encouraged me to.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad I did, because like I got so emotionally attached to the game. I was crying over characters. It is
I've
so
heard really
good.
things.
I've heard
It-
the story
Horizon
is
or Red
great,
Dead?
but yeah, I couldn't handle the
Red
gameplay
Dead.
of it.
Yeah, the gameplay's tricky. I definitely, I used to stream a lot when I was playing that game, because people loved that, you know, you forget your controls. I've like almost knocked myself out by trains before. I accidentally punched my
Yeah.
horse several times, like all that stuff. But
As one
the
does.
story of that game is incredible.
That's what I've
Yes.
always heard, is that the story for Red Dead is just amazing. And I always
And
wanted
the
it
game's
to play it, but
expansive. Yeah.
What was that?
Like, Breath of the Wild's huge, but for some reason Red Dead feels like one of the biggest games I've ever played, because there's so much to find.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, after a while, you're kind of like not really looking forward to finding new stuff. I mean, it's still nice,
Right.
like getting new pieces of armor and stuff, like equipment, but not long term. It's a little bit lacking.
I got super obsessed with Red Dead. I actually went all the way to the one southeast corner of the map and I scrolled the whole map to unlock it all. And I still missed things, but there was so much I uncovered that later when I got further into the story, it finally made sense. Just, it's so cool. I would say give it another chance if you ever have the time.
I definitely want to.
I think that's one of the things too. When I play a story-based game, I usually like to play them in like long sittings, so I want to dedicate the time to it, and I need to be in the right mood. So they're always one of those games. It's like, oh, what should I play? And I'll see Red Dead 2, and I'll be like, maybe next time. I wanna set aside some time for that.
Well, it's definitely a commitment, yeah.
It's big. But also, there's points where you just can't stop. You don't want to have to like start something over or do a cutscene again.
Sure.
So like you have to really, I don't know. Half the time I play, I'm not even doing the objectives. I'm just taking care of my horse.
Sure.
Like I always call it Horse Sim like 2000 or something. But it's like at the same time, I had just finished telling a friend like, oh, this is really my self-care game. I love this game. And she's like, why? And this is when I was at my really toxic job. I was like, because I can go have a clean shave, take a bath, have a hot meal, ride my horse forever, look at animals. And then like a really crucial turning point happened in the game that was like traumatic to the character I was taking care of. And I was like, no, my peace.
My safe space.
There's no amount of baths I can take to fix this.
Oh no.
And it was so funny because she had already beaten the game and she knew.
Oh,
she let me
knew what was
talk it up
coming.
and she let me lead to that. And she said, Megan, I was just gritting my teeth and I was just gonna let you keep saying it because how could I tell you? How could I tell you?
How could you pop that bubble?
Oh, God bless her.
Yeah, I think story-based games are probably one of my least played groups. I really enjoy them, but they just like knowing that there's a lot to it and there's a story I gotta pay attention to. Usually means I'll put them off until I'm on like Christmas break or something, and I'll just binge through one of them.
I still haven't started Elden Ring. I installed it and then I set it to the side because it's like I gotta finish Horizon before I do this.
Yeah.
That's also a big game. Definitely very enjoyable. I think you liked it, but gotta finish other things.
I have to say, with all the fan art that's out there, I'm now more confused.
Of
But people are so talented.
Elden Ring?
Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wait, is this the good guy? And they're like, nobody's a good guy.
They're drawing all of it.
I'm genuinely surprised. I mean, it seems like a good game, but I'm genuinely surprised at how like popular it was. Like, I thought it was going to be such a niche game, like the other Dark Souls have been, and it just took off. Everybody loves it.
I know because I've played a little bit of like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, and I just never really enjoyed it. I wasn't into it at all. I mostly would play to keep like a friend company who played, but I don't know what it was. It was something about the way they promoted this, and definitely those teaser releases of the artwork. I was like, oh, maybe I gotta give this a try.
I think the art style is kind of the game changer for me. Like, I tend to not like the super weird, like grossy, like dark.
Yeah.
The Souls games. I mean, I appreciate it, and it can be like beautiful at times, but it's also like kind of grim and like depressing sometimes. So I think in terms of like tone, I like Elden Ring's tone better. I mean, it still has like weird stuff and like has that like Soulsy feel to it, but it's very like pretty too, which I like.
Yeah.
Has a lot
Rob,
of,
are
like,
you
amazing...
back? No, he's gone. I'm gonna say his name was still here after he mentioned the crash.
Thinks we defeated a wyvern with one of Eldon's famous water spells. I teased him by saying I didn't think crying constituted a water spell, and he, cast an even stronger water spell, so to speak.
Still playing quite a bit of Tavern Master too.
that like
Tavern
got like
Master?
my. Oh yeah, I've got my 3rd floor in, which is entirely an inn. I think I've
that's
got like
cool.
8 rentable rooms. And then my 2nd floor is where the researchers are. There's more plush seating, and then there's balcony seating. And my 1st floor is like the traditional tavern with stage and music and
Sure.
long tables.
I'll
And I've
admit,
got-
all of these games are new to me. Like Tavern Keeper, Tavern Master. What was it?
Tavern Keeper's Mobile Tavern Master is actually a pretty cool PC game.
I like it's 3D. That's cool.
It is, but it's also like, it's, despite being repetitive, it's not repetitive feeling. Where you don't get, like, sometimes I'll just actually stop and watch
Yeah.
the idle play.
Yeah, I was like that. It's like simulation almost, where you're just like seeing how things are going in your tavern. It's cool.
Right. And there's always something to look forward to, there's always something to unlock, which is really nice. Especially since, like, when I bought it, it was only like a $10 game, and I'm surprised, like, how much play I've gotten out of it.
Yeah. Those are always the best games,
The
though,
other
where you're
one-
like, I spent so little on this, and
Yes!
I'm not done yet. Oh, you know what game was like that? Did you guys ever play, I think it was Moonlighter? It was like a little...
I know what game you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little dungeon crawler where you would go down into the dungeon, fight, and collect items, and then bring it all back up, and then you would sell it at your little day
I
shop.
think yeah, that's a cool like cycle. Like
It
going
was
out,
such a
getting stuff.
unique, like, kind of relaxing, where you go on these like grindy bits where you're like trying to survive the dungeon, and you're making it, and then you're almost dead, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're done with that, and now you're gonna run your shop for the day, and you're just gonna try to make money, try to keep the customers happy, keep the shelves stocked, and it was very odd balance. But I loved it, and I think I spent $1 on that game, and
That's awesome.
I put so much time into it. Which it definitely feels like I
There's-
underpaid.
Have you played, Dragon Cafe, then?
Dragon Cafe? I've
I haven't
never
heard
heard
of
of
that.
that.
Oh my god, I love that game. It's a lot like that, but it's done in almost... The art looks like a colored pencil / watercolor paint type look. It's really beautiful, but the whole point is you have this kind of rundown cafe that your family owns, and you're helping them put it back on the map, but you also are taking care of this baby dragon. And so you and the dragon, you go out, you go fishing, you go harvesting and foraging, you get resources, and you come back. And there's like there's battle play when you're out there getting all these resources, and
Yeah.
It's like cool.
really good angling mechanics. But you come back and you cook these new recipes, and it's always exciting unlocking one. You unlock more guests, and you get like these mini little RPG stories along the way.
That
I
sounds
really like the
great.
art style of it. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Honestly, what I've been lacking in my gaming lately is a classic RPG style game like you would get on the Game Boy or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like a Golden Sun game, where it's just this
Like an
this-
RPM.
Yeah, like I miss those old Game Boy ones.
They definitely don't make them like that.
They really don't.
I mean, it's like Octopath Traveler, kind of like that. Like,
A little
I
bit,
actually
yeah.
don't know. I mean, I grew up really liking like Super Nintendo JRPGs, but
Yeah.
like as things transitioned from like PS2 I feel like to PS3, somewhere around there, like JRPGs just didn't quite hit the same way, or it's just like I think there was a lot of ones that came out that were just not like I don't know. It didn't feel the same.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's like
I
they
think
changed the formula.
Yeah.
Or they just were like uninspired or something, or maybe they just didn't have like they didn't have like a hook or something that kind of like made it feel. I don't know. I tend to want to like really like the story and characters of a game, so when they get like super anime, but not even like good anime, it's just like weird.
Yeah, kind of goofy elements, and I definitely get that. Honestly, what I kind of wonder is going from like the PS2 Game Boy era to the PS3 and Xbox 360. I think the power and what you could do with the games jumped quite a bit. Like the room for like making these more in-depth games just ballooned. So you went from this like design style they had where you're trying to do as much as you can with just a little bit. Like Game Boy games
Right.
were not big at all, but they had to make them, so like they had very little resources, but they had to work really hard to make something out of it. Versus you move into like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, they've got all this processing power and all this stuff they can make and do, and you focus more on that. You focus more on like, ooh, how visually can we make this look better? How can we make the gameplay change? What new features can we do? Which is good in its own right, but then you focus less on the story. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like the burden of options. You can do so many things, so you're going to specialize in something. It's just not always going to be the same story-based thing.
Right.
Not to say there aren't plenty of games out there.
Right. That's sort of what I felt like when the Switch first came out, because when it came out, there weren't enough games for it, and people were complaining about it,
Yeah.
and it kind of triggered like this cool little revolution of a lot of indie creators' games being super visible right away.
Yeah.
That is exactly
And
what I am trying to do.
like, I really liked Oxenfree when that first came out, and I was trying to get all my friends to play Oxenfree, and now I think the sequel's coming out here soon, and I
think it
can't wait
is,
to
yeah.
play it.
Oh, that's cool.
Because you've just been
Ben really
challenged
liked
to a
Oxenfree.
duel.
I played it, I think, like
It's the
a
pirate
very
way.
small amount, but
Now
I
we
didn't
gotta
like
hit
go
'em with
through
the
it. It's definitely on
cutlass,
my
meanest,
eternal
wake up
list
in a
of
cold
games to
sweat,
play,
20
but
years later it's
Mhm.
comeback. Or we
eventually.
lose the duel.
It's very like story heavy, right? I mean, it's like primarily story, right?
It's story heavy and very much determined by your choice. Your choice in how you respond to everyone around you.
It seems like it's like kind of like well, not relationshipy, but like the things that you do affect like the people that you're probably with and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very much along the lines of a mix of science and supernatural. And
I love
I
that.
think there's something like I think there's like 13 endings.
Oh dang!
That's impressive.
I was like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just stand there and look fuzzy.
Holy, where are these guys coming from?
Yeah, I'm just randomly fighting these dudes.
Who are you fighting?
It's like two big crab things.
I got some sharks here.
Oh, I
Like
found the tank.
pirates.
Ooh, my spell slots are all tingly.
Oh, Danny, first mate. Just 'cause it doesn't kill you, don't mean it don't hurt. Now, rejoin me crew and help us take down Chartreuse LeChance.
Nice.
Chartreuse LeChance.
Only a few crew left to find, and I know just where they'll be. Ollie, chart a course for Plunder Port.
Plunder Port! Plunder Port!
Yeah, I'm trying to find a new game to play because I'm trying to do my, kind of schedule out my streams a little bit more. I wanted to try to put up to 3 times a week because recently I usually only tend to stream when I'm playing with other people, and that's always kind of a wishy-washy thing. Who's free what night? When are my buddies free to play? So I'm trying to find something that I want to play like solo, and I just haven't. I don't know. Nothing's been jumping out to me lately.
Yeah.
A whole town of pirates?
Which makes me
That's
feel.
always a hard decision.
Yeah.
Why are you so into pirates?
They're just
What was that, Brian?
You know, they take
Do you
your
have like a
ships
specific
before
genre in mind, or?
answering
Not
the
really.
door,
I
searching for fortune
don't
and
really have
intrigue.
like a particular genre that I love more than others. I will definitely play like FPSs more than others, but that's mostly because they're easy. Easy to jump in and out of, and easy to convince other people to play. But as far as like favorite
Nothing
types
up
of
my
games, I don't really
sleeves.
have a preference.
I've got the
I guess I'm
juice.
trying to
I'm trying-
focus on indie stuff, like smaller games,
Yeah.
less than AAA.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna
I
ask
feel like
if you.
whenever Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, I was wondering if you had played Halo Infinite yet, because I remember you said you were gonna wait to play with your buddy Lee, I think. But I don't.
Halo.
Oh, you're waiting for multi.
Oh, the story stuff.
Yeah.
I
That's gonna be a good stream, but it's also like a AAA, and
yeah.
we're waiting.
I will play it at some point. I do eventually play all of them. I don't know if they've worked out their... they've released the campaign, but I think it's still just single player. I don't think they've released the two-player campaign yet, the co-op. Which is problematic. That game, it hasn't done as bad as Battlefield 2042 did, but it has had a rough go of it, for sure.
Yeah, the multiplayer seems like it kind of dropped off.
It really did hard. The community has been very unhappy with a lot of the choices they've made, and they just don't have the manpower to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Bullets beyond counting.
like
dead time for them.
I really like the single player though. It's something I want to buy eventually and go through, but I think it's pretty much like full price right now, so
Yeah, it is.
eventually. I just really like the grappling hook, like being able to just like, so in the campaign you can just launch yourself constantly with a grappling hook, so you're just like pseudo flying through the game.
Yeah. That's just seems like a
It's like-
win.
Yeah, there's like trees everywhere in the open. It's like Breath of the Wild, so you can like, but you can like latch. Oh, almost. Oh, but you can like latch onto any tree and just like Spider-Man your way through the level. It's really cool.
Yeah. The multiplayer for it is really, really well done. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of the same thing. There's not a lot of variation to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just gets old a little quick, unless you're playing like a full group of people and you're just having a good time, like you do with any game. If you're just playing like 2 people, or if you're just playing by yourself, it just doesn't. It's not great over time. I tend to play that Halo with. I was playing with you guys for a while, but my buddy Lee, who we played with, he's usually the person I'll convince to play it, and even he's just not into the multiplayer at all.
Yeah.
So, kind of fell off that one a little bit.
I think you kind of need some, at least for like when I played Overwatch, like the events and like the skins you could get were like a large part of like what made it kind of interesting. It like just gave you something to like work towards in addition to
Yeah, definitely.
just playing stuff. So it feels kind of hard. I mean, it's hard for a new game to like have that much content to
Yeah.
start, but it's kind of almost a requirement too. Did any of you play Overwatch?
I
Or
played
I used
a
to
couple
play it.
matches.
a couple matches?
Couple matches. That's about it for me.
I played a decent amount. I enjoyed it. It's just it really requires like a lot of teamwork to like
Yeah.
have fun in the game. So it can be a little challenging if you're just doing like random pickup games and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what did it for me. Those type of games, I always prefer to play with a group, and I didn't have anyone else playing with it at the time that I tried it. So I just jumped into it solo and played a couple matches, and I was just like, not enough for me to get really into it
Yeah.
by myself.
I think it's tough to like get into any like online game. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't say it's tough. It's just like harder if you don't have other people playing.
Yeah, I mean, games are always better when you're playing with people, in my opinion.
Ooh, there's a bird over here.
I think we fully lost Rob there.
Oh, is he out of the game too now?
Yeah, he crashed. I thought he rejoined because his name never went away. But I think he probably recommitted himself to their problems.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stinks. Did the game go live today?
A couple of days ago, I think. Monday or
Yeah, that
Tuesday,
takes a-
maybe.
Yep, stuff.
Yeah, it was just a rough launch.
I mean,
That's a
I feel like these things kind of always have to be like a little rough. I mean, it'd be ideal if they had time to like test it and not. It seemed like it was kind of like crunch.
Yeah, that's the problem with most games is you have a deadline and it's just a little too little time.
Yeah,
You're
especially
always-
when you're working with a team that's like split across time zones and stuff.
Yep.
Pop the windbreaker's balloon.
How'd you get way over there, Zane?
Down to the
There's a
dry
little
depths.
jump pad.
My best reaches were on
Where
there.
is it?
New recruits.
Oh wow, I'm so.
It's over here.
I think it's right here. Is the jump pad to get over here?
Oh wait, how'd you even go over there? It's like the opposite side of the map. Oh, I need it. There's some of that. Oh wow, you are.
There's a jump pad you can hit that launches you up this way.
It's crew versus crew.
Down. Ooh. I'm down. What? Pirate. Almost didn't make it from that one.
Really hurt. We'll join back up with Three Woods crew. We've gotten to know each other pretty well in the last few minutes.
So many
here be
greens.
the tale of woe that brought me down to the depths of what used to be the ocean.
Actually, I think I'm coming to you guys.
Pirate backstory.
Great, I'm just gonna tune out for a minute.
Nope, I'm
The fiercest pirate captain on the buttery sea.
above you.
I had a fine ship, a loyal crew, and true love. But I lost it all.
Wait, that's it? You didn't even explain the curse.
Ooh, so me pirate backstory be insufficient for ye. Never mind then, ye scurvy cur.
Ha! See? She's got nothing. She always forgets.
I read
to
online
drop
somewhere
her
someone was like
when she's
complaining
scrambling
about
for
Ashley Birch's voice acting as Tiny
What's up,
Tina
Yonder?
as like just awful. I'm like,
Fight them.
I was gonna say, who are like, what are you talking about? Tiny Tina is like the most iconic character in this whole franchise, and Ashley Birch is amazing.
She has like a whole righty, angry fan base that I'll never quite fathom or understand, where she just gets hate for no reason all the time.
Just cause.
Some of it I think relates to her guest appearance on Critical Role,
Ah, yes.
where Molly, you've probably seen it then, where Molly Mock died.
Yeah. Are you that far, Brian?
Oh yeah, I went through all of season 2.
Oh, you're done with season 2.
Yeah, we're on season 3.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like-
they
I
have
was
the whole
gonna say I
Molly Mock
thought so
thing, for
because I
sure.
wouldn't have. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they still blame her for that, and it's so like, yes, I had problems with like, I probably would not have played that way that one night, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's her fault or that she should be punished for it.
Yeah,
'cause
I
it's
don't
clearly
think
something.
she played a whole lot either.
No, and like Taliesin obviously had that worked into his character plot for a reason. I think they even said something like after the show where they had planned that, you know, this was set up so he could die or accidentally kill himself because they knew that they would try to tie it in, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it still caught Taliesin off guard when it happened. Because
Oh, so soon.
I remember, I think he knew it was an option at some point, but it was like episode like, wasn't it like only episode like 14 or something like that? Really?
Episode 27, yeah.
Oh, really? 27?
I only remember because other people won't let me forget.
Oh. I think it just caught them all off guard how early it happened. Though, are you guys caught up on season 3?
I'm not.
I need to see the last 2 episodes. All of like, what is it? The chase or the mansion ones.
Yeah. Brian, how far are you?
Oh, I want to say we've only watched like 2 episodes so far.
Okay. So
It's
no.
more just we haven't started like going into it.
Yeah.
I think we're just taking like a small break, but we definitely intend on watching them. The little bit that we watched was pretty good.
Season 3 has taken me a little bit to like really get invested in, a little bit longer than the other 2
Same.
have. But I think I've started to more with these last couple episodes.
Yeah.
It's a little more entertaining and a little more my type of speed. And
Probably the players like getting back into like getting used to like their new characters and like the dynamics and everything.
yeah.
Right.
Though I will say I have one incredible problem with the show right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is and it isn't a spoiler, but I don't know how much you pay attention to their whole thing or not. I'll just say that I absolutely adore Robbie Daymond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
agree
think
with
he
you.
is-
I know what you're gonna say.
I think he is the best thing that they've done for this show in so long. I absolutely adore him.
I do like his character.
I just like
Yeah.
I like the way he plays. I like the way he interacts with everybody.
Mhm.
Like
Seems like
He is his character.
He
yeah,
is,
He
like-
totally becomes his character,
He
and
does.
it meshes with the team completely.
Mhm.
And I think he brings out the better sides of their characters too.
I
with
think
the way
so,
he
too.
plays.
I think because you have across the table, and obviously they're all professional voice actors, but you have certain ones of them that get much more into character, like Liam and I can't think of their real names right now. She's won a bunch of awards there.
Laura Bailey.
Laura
yeah.
Bailey, thank you. Like Liam and Laura are very, they get into character, they do the acting and all that kind of stuff. They get really, really into it, and not everyone else at the table does, but it was cool to have someone new who did get really into it. So I'll just leave it at that. I am a big fan of Robbie Daymond, and I am also very sad.
Completely agree. But it makes me very eager for what's, like what kind of twists and turns will there be. I like that they're still doing EXU, but I have to say, even with that, I feel like Robbie's the best part of EXU.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I struggled finishing EXU. It was just a different vibe for sure. I don't think I disliked it, but it didn't hook me to the point where I like binged through it when it was out, and I'm like halfway through,
Right.
and I still need to go back and finish it.
I never finished the last episode.
Yeah.
That's
it's a
where you
little
ended?
rough. There he is.
Yeah.
Did you watch, Brian?
I did watch through it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I skipped a bunch, and then I did end up watching the ending just to like get some closure in the story and stuff.
Sure.
I did think there was like an interesting dynamic of like a Wol's character with like the DM's like story and stuff. It was like a really interesting like I don't know. There's some parts that were like a little hard to watch.
Yeah.
But and I think also too like the characters like it seemed like all the characters in general were like kind of chaotic. So it was like
Yes.
a little hard to follow the story sometimes.
Yeah. They were definitely a little less. Hard to
I
say,
think they
but
just-
a little less orderly than the Critical Role
Yeah.
cast.
I know, right? Yeah. We're already a little bit disorderly, but it's yeah. I think it's also too like just a new like combination of like players and stuff. So it was like they had to cover a lot of ground in like only a short amount of episodes. So it kind of
Yeah.
sometimes the story would just like move along and stuff, and it would be a little hard to follow sometimes. But
Yeah, it definitely was a adjustment for me as well. It's Critical Role, so you're like automatically thinking, you're used to Matt's DMing style, so switching over to a new DM was
Oh, yeah.
definitely like it took me a while to get through the first episode. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is it's not
Like
really
adjusting to a
Critical
different-
Role. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something new. It's her game, so it's gonna be different. They're not gonna be the same, like it's not gonna have the same flow or the same like cadence or anything.
Yeah, it's a totally different dynamic. Ooh, what is this?
That being said, though, I feel like Abria did great with the level of chaos that was thrown at her. Like, she
did.
handled it so well, and she made it so gentle.
Yeah.
But I started to get frustrated with this second round of EXU. And I love Amy Carrero. Like, I loved her and Shira and everything, but she was so chaotic and so confused again going into EXU. And I'm like, come on, Amy, this is like your 13th time playing now. You have to remember some rules. Any
And
rules.
Is that Opal's voice actress?
Opal, yeah.
Opal.
So they
I will say
started-
Opal was a low point for me on the team for the first one.
Yeah.
Like just what she, it sounds bad to say, just what she brought to the table just didn't vibe with me a whole lot.
It was a hard time to introduce somebody who had zero
Yes.
Right.
D&D, not even like experience, but like knowledge, because it
Indeed.
was a tough crowd, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt like it kind of like, I felt like she was kind of like the main character, like popped up as that, but also not
Right.
cooperative in terms of like moving stuff along. So it was very, yeah.
Yes.
So you got in situations where you're just like trying to move through the story and just like nothing's happening, or like just, yeah. It was definitely an
Yeah.
interesting combination, yeah.
Yeah. It was difficult because I knew I liked her work, like what things she's done.
Right.
And, you know. Is she Shira, the voice?
Yeah, yeah.
Is she?
She is, yeah. She's
She is,
Adora
okay.
and Shira. She plays both sides.
All right, I was gonna say, I love that.
And-
Like that was super good, and it was hard because I'm like, I know like you are a great voice actress. Like, it's just the setting you're in right now. I just don't know if it's working for me engaging with the material. You know.
And I think some of that might have been mixed with the lack of experience. I realized she did not play. She didn't play a character. She played a personality type.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was unsettling for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the whole thing was a little jarring at first because you do have a new DM, you have multiple new players, and then I think Opal would have been a character that was divisive no matter what campaign she was in, but she was in a
Right.
campaign that was just new. Like there was so many new pieces to it, that it just I don't know. It was all kind of hard to wrap my head around. Now, granted, did you guys watch the Magic and Misfits from Dimension 20?
I have only seen a couple episodes.
I loved that. Like I felt
Yeah.
like the table Bria was working with there just vibed with her so much better.
Yeah.
Like
I think you kind of need like a good like mix of, I don't know, it's like sometimes like a different combination of people have a different vibe.
Yeah, oh,
And so, like,
100%,
sometimes it
yeah.
works really well, sometimes it's a little off. So
you gotta find your crew,
Right.
the people that you are gonna work with best. And I just thought like the Dimension 20 people, like everyone just complimented so well, and it's man, I'm drawing a blank on names tonight. Brendan
Lee Mulligan.
Brendan
He's
Lee Mulligan.
phenomenal.
He is honestly in all of like celebrity D&D, live play, let's plays or any live plays or anything like that. He's my favorite. I like as a DM, he's the like person I try to like not emulate but pull things he does, like how he handles players and everything. I just think he's so creative and so adaptive. And the crew that he works with in Dimension 20 is so chaotic that he just has to be so adaptive, and he handles it so well.
So it's just Dimension 20. That's like a podcast type thing, or
Yeah, it's a crew from College Humor, so they're all kind of like sketch comedian type things. So they do multiple different, like Critical Role does like one big ongoing campaign. Dimension 20 tends to do a bunch of shorter, like maybe 7 to 15 episode campaigns.
well, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's a large variety of them too. Like all of them, I don't like all of them. Like not all of them kind of are what I'm looking for, but the ones that are exactly what I'm looking for.
That's the best way to put it too.
Yeah. Like the ones, even the ones that I don't like it's not that they're bad. It's just I know it's not for me, but I know there's someone out there who absolutely adores what it is they're doing.
One of the cool, like, I think the most captivating part for me is just Brennan is also just one of the most interesting people I've ever witnessed.
Just genuinely
He's so knowledgeable on a billion topics.
Yes.
And I'd say he's well on par, if not better, than a lot of the Critical Role cast as far as character building, character.
Oh, absolutely. I'd put he's in a tier like Matt Mercer is obviously like he's the D&D DM. Like he is very great at what he does, but I'd put Brennan Lee Mulligan right up there with him in just pure style, you know?
Oh, there's a D20
Good
on the back
timing.
of the ship.
Oh, whoa.
Brian, you and Ben are really into, or at least decently into Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh yeah, Ben is a huge fan. I mean, I'm too, but not as much as he is.
Okay. Then if you guys, want something to listen to or to watch, Dimension 20 did, what is it, Escape from the Blood Keep, which is basically a follow-up to Lord of the Rings. What happens right after Lord of the Rings, and it's great. He's got Matt Mercer as a player in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's one of the ones I recommend the most.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a listen. How many episodes is it, or is it just like a one-off? Oh, the thing's up here.
Maybe 9, 10 episodes. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like a mini series type thing.
Ooh, luck going up.
That's pretty good.
Have you listened to a lot of the campaigns, Megan?
I've listened to a handful of a few because we're kind of the opposite. Like, I like both of them, but Jen, for some reason, just cannot get into Critical Role at all.
Okay.
But she's seen 1 or 2 episodes of Dimension 20, and she loves that for the same reasons. Like, she loves Brennan. She
Yeah.
likes when Brennan and Abria play together. And, like, I'm stuck at a point where, like, I can't go any further until she's going to commit to sit down and, like, watch them with me, because she won't let me get ahead of her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's like, I don't feel like sitting for 2 hours.
That's always tough, because you're like,
Yeah.
I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are a time sink for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But I love it. Like I've been trying to keep up with Critical Role so that I can watch them and kind of support them live. And it's just an experience. Like it's just a cool thing to watch. But I feel like the Dimension. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna. It wasn't until like later campaign 2 where I actually could finally start watching live, because I was doing catch up for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And
So much content.
Yeah. And I'm really glad now too that like you can just watch on YouTube without the chat.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I've shifted to. But now watching campaign 3 live, oh my god, I'm just too old. I can't stay up that late.
I know,
It's hard.
Yeah. So I have to wait till like Mondays.
Yeah.
That's usually when we would do it.
I caught up with campaign 2 in time to watch the finale. That was I pushed through like the last 3 episodes to catch up so that I could watch that live.
Nice.
And it was worth it for sure. And then with campaign 3, I've been just trying to keep up week to week.
This is like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
But I always recommend D20 to people because there's such a wide variety of things to watch that you're gonna find something that hits what you're looking for in D&D.
Yeah.
I love Enter the Bloodkeep, but I truly think their best campaign is called the Unsleeping City. And it's
Oh, I've heard that.
It's basically magical New York, and I just think everyone who played in that campaign so perfectly fit their characters that it was magic. Like it was just so great to watch. That's the one. Like I recommend the Lord of the Rings one because I know you guys are you're both, especially Ben, into Lord of the Rings. So it's a really good one. But Unsleeping City is the one that I'm always preaching to people.
I'll have to check that one out. I've seen the one where they're like in a candy kingdom.
Yeah,
I've seen like 2 episodes of that, and that one's great.
Candy Crown or whatever
And
it's called.
then, yeah, and then there's one where Aubrey is the DM and Brennan's the player, and it's like these magical kids that they're all rounding up for like fake Harry Potter.
That's
That
Magics
one
and
was
Misfits.
so good.
Yes. That's the one where I'm like,
Yes.
Abria just fit, like, her players just fit her so well, and that was great.
Yes. That's the one I'm not allowed to watch any more of until Jen's ready. And
Yeah.
that was like 6 months ago.
Wait, is that Dimension 20 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's one of the only campaigns where Brennan is not DM. Abria came in and did a guest spot the same summer that she did the guest spot at Critical Role for their first their first guest DM, and they called it the Summer of Abria, because I think she had a third guest spot on another show as well.
Yeah, that vampire one. I'm trying to remember what that is.
Vampire
something
Masquerade.
Masquerade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you would recognize a couple of them by face, though, Brian, because, like Zane said, they've done, like, College Humor. I think some of them did...
It definitely sounds familiar.
They were on, like, a lot of web shows.
A lot of web skits, like YouTube skits for comedy. I think everyone will recognize them to some degree. And once you see them, you'll kind of go, wait, did I see this? And you'll go and you'll look up a video and you'll be like, yeah, that's one of them.
I remember that.
I also think one of the things Dimension 20 has going for it is it has my personal favorite player in all of D&D, Emily Axford. Emily
good.
Axford is, I just think, like, the perfect D&D player. Like, as a DM, like, thinking about, like, who do I want at my table? It's Emily Axford, because she's so chaotic, but she embraces the story that she's in so well, and just fits her characters just amazingly. She also, her and her husband Brian Murphy, who are both in Dimension 20, they also have their own D&D podcast they do called Mad Pod. Not another D&D podcast, with 2 other people, and Brian Murphy is the DM for that. I'm getting really in the weeds here with D&D podcasts, but
I mean, they're...
You want to know something stupid, Zane?
What?
I had no clue that Emily and Brian were married.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
You're just realizing that now.
Yep. It definitely puts a lot of their jokes.
Few episodes. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it puts a lot of their jokes in, like, when you're watching, into context for sure to know that.
Right. She was on a few of Adam Ruins Everything as well.
Yes. Yep. She was the main, like, partner, wasn't she, of him? She would always show up in things. Yeah, she was big for College Humor and everything too. But have you ever listened to NADPOD, Megan?
I don't think so.
That
one doesn't sound familiar.
It's podcast only. It's not on YouTube or anything.
Okay.
They've on their 3rd campaign now. I think campaign 1 is probably the best D&D campaign I've ever listened to.
Really?
Hands down. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of it being my first campaign I ever really listened to fully, or what, but when that show ended, I was, like, literally in tears with the finale they did, just because I got so attached to it.
I'll have to check that out.
But that being said, I have not it sounds awful, but I have not listened to their other 2 campaigns because I don't know what magic they had in the first one, but they didn't really translate into the other 2 for me.
That's what I'm kind of worried about with Critical Role, because like I've seen a few episodes of Campaign 1. I know everybody loves it. I think I only got up to like episode 10.
Yeah.
I will eventually go back and watch it, but something about Campaign 2 is so magical. And I'm
Yes.
not finding that with 3, and I'm like, is it just me? Maybe it's me.
I really don't think it is. I think each campaign is a little different, and depending on when you join, start watching, and like just what you're looking for in the show, one of them is gonna hit better than the others.
Yeah.
Now, I know NADPOD, it's still ongoing. I know it's still very, very popular. They're doing very well for themselves. But their most recent 2 campaigns, I have really, really not enjoyed them. But I know they're really popular. They're just not for me anymore. But yeah, COVID really, really got me into the full fold with D&D real plays and stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely gave me the opportunity to catch up on a lot.
Yeah. Also, COVID and listening to those Let's Plays is why I finally got back into D&D.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what made me do my horrible idea of doing a completely homebrewed everything game. Which was fun, it's a good game, but I was like, why am I doing this?
So
Doing this to myself?
genuinely exactly the same here. I did all homebrewed, and I love it, and I immensely regret it. It's just so much work week to week.
Well, that and like my players did so good because there were certain things I set up for them where depending on the order they make their choices, they could get a bunch of different variable endings for this one session. And they went in perfect order, which also meant like they met like 10 different NPCs that now I have to like, they want to start it up again and I have to remember like 20 different voices and what everybody's name was. I'm just like, oh.
A lot of work.
It is.
My buddy is starting his first campaign. Our first session is on Monday, and he was pretty bent. Like he'd never DM'd before. He was pretty bent on doing his own. And I'm like, if you want to, totally go for it. But I totally recommend using a module first. Like, go through something someone else has already made. Save yourself some work and just get your sea legs first.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Pacing is like the big. I feel like pacing is like a big thing in the beginning, like knowing how many fights you need to do and like your players along and stuff. So it's just like stuff that takes experience and like on top of having to do that, like having to like configure everything and like balance it. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah, 100%. But it's real easy to kill early level players.
Yes.
It's always something to keep
That
in
is
mind.
what. Yeah, my crew right now is experiencing that. They just had their first session, and Jen's super rusty, so this is her D&D refresher from like 2 years. And my younger brother Sean, he's a regular player, so he knows what he's doing. And then my friend Chelsea is completely brand new, and this is a level 1, like Candlekeep session.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they have made every bad choice you could possibly make in this module, and I'm like, I can't even, like, I'm at the point where I'm trying to steer them away from it a little bit because they're very, squishy level 1s.
Yeah.
And thank God, like, one of them picked a healing class, the other one has a racial feat, the other one has another racial feat where, like, it makes it hard for them to die, but they're really pushing it, and like,
Pushing their luck.
I'm just trying to, yeah. It's like, oh my God, session 1, they touched everything. Even the things that screamed, don't touch me.
Right?
They touched it all. I'm just like, oh God. So, I'm just trying to keep them alive enough. Like, I need to show especially Chelsea, that there are consequences for your
Oh, yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna be lawful good, which is totally her personality, you know? And she gets in and she's nothing but absolute neutral chaos. And I was like, what are you doing? And even my brother Sean's like, if you go
It's
after NPCs, they'll defend themselves. You know, just like like she robbed a guy with 5 minutes into the game, and
Wow.
she picked a fight with a guy in a line. She's like, I'm just gonna shove him out of the way. And I was like, okay, well he's going to defend himself. She's like, what? He can't do that.
This works. Yes.
Oh,
Anything you can
Chelsea.
do, they can do better.
Exactly.
Candlekeep is one of the newer ones, like the Wild and the Witchlight or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's something like, oh, what is it? Is it 11 or 17 one-shots? It might be 11. I will be honest, I've not read them all yet, but I'm stringing them together into a
That's
campaign.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So-
Actually, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's definitely helping me because I wanted them to be able to play for a long time if they like it,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to have to build too much this time. So I'm just building around the one-shots to connect them all.
That sounds like a lot of fun. We're doing the new what's the new campaign Critical Role one there?
Netherdeep?
Netherdeep, yes. We're starting that on Monday.
Nice.
Which he's a very, very big Critical Role fan. So part of the way I convinced him not to try to homebrew his first one, like not to talk him out of it, but to show him there's another option, was to be like, hey, you just got that new Critical Role book. Why don't you play that? And he's like, oh, that's true. I guess we could try that. That'd be a lot of fun. And I was like, I'm gonna call this a win.
Yeah, I think you steered him in the right direction there.
I 100% think so. I think homebrew is can be a lot of fun. Like I really enjoy my homebrew campaign, but it was my first campaign I'd ever run. Really, honestly, mostly my first DMing, and to have to come up with it all from scratch is just big learning curve.
Yes. I think I've told this story a few times. I'd literally only done it to be a one-shot that maybe was gonna have 1 or 2 sessions. So I homebrewed it because I needed the world to be weird and fit this.
Yeah.
It needed to not be like a traditional type town in D&D.
Yeah.
But then they liked it and they kept playing and they kept going back and talking to everybody. And I'm like, I guess I gotta make this bigger.
You did too good of a job.
I guess. I don't know. I think it was just weird enough that they wanted to see how weird it could get.
Yeah.
It can get really weird.
It can get super weird.
I'll have to check out those Candlekeep ones. They sound interesting.
They are, I would have to say, the only ones so far of the ones I read that I don't like. It's not even that I don't like it. It's honestly the first one. The level 1 one-shot. I should have probably invested more time redesigning it. I feel like it's too challenging for level 1s.
Oh,
There's
really?
so many battle encounters. Yeah, like the number of battle encounters are really hard and rough on new players.
Okay.
And it starts to suck some of the fun out of it.
Yeah, it
Because
gets very
if anything, it
grindy.
makes you grindy, and it starts to make you adverse to investigating it all.
True, yeah.
Which I don't like that. I want people to be encouraged to continue to investigate.
Sure, yeah. That's half the fun,
But-
finding things.
Yeah, they're starting to feel punished for looking, so I'm just gonna start changing it on the fly now so that doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But there's some really zany ones in that whole Candlekeep mystery book.
Oh, I definitely want to check it out.
I think some of them were written by like one was written by Amy Vorpal, who also does stuff with College Humor and
Really?
Dimension 20. In fact, she was on my favorite episode of Don't Laugh News. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I've watched too much of that.
I love that. She's oh my god, Amy totally lost. It was her, Brennan, Erika Ishii, and somebody else. My favorite episode.
Are you
I
crying over
I think
I-
it's literally if you just Google Amy loses it on Don't Laugh, and then it'll come right up.
I think my counterpoint to Amy Vorpal is Erika Ishii is probably one of my favorite cast members on all of College Humor there, and she's been in so much D&D stuff lately, and I love it.
Yeah. She's very talented.
She is very talented. I think so. D&D Beyond was just acquired by Wizards of the Coast, and they've announced a new campaign for the whole thing. They're going to do a campaign full of celebrities, and I think she's one of them. It's very exciting.
Oh, nice. I'm kind of waiting to hear what to expect, only because I have a D&D Beyond membership, and I just want to know what's going to change.
Yeah. I genuinely not sure.
I've been using... Yeah, that's where most of my resources are instead of physical copies nowadays.
I managed to mostly mooch off my buddy.
I do not share power.
He bought all of the physical and by doing that got all the digital copies of all the books. So whenever I have a campaign I need to set up on there, I just have him join it so that I have access to all of his stuff.
There was a guy that was just on, I just saw an article on Twitter, and he put into, what was it? He has designs for every single monster and creature in D&D, over 2,000 of them, that can be 3D printed, and all the files are free. And, yeah.
That guy is amazing.
He is!
One of the players at my table, bought himself a 3D printer once he found that library, and now is constantly trying to print whatever we're fighting next.
My sister has one. I was thinking of just paying her to print off some monsters for me.
I don't think model little minis are required, but they really do make the game more exciting when you kind of pull out the thing they're about to fight and you put it down on the table and they all freak out. That is a good feeling.
Was definitely the highlight for Chelsea and them. Was I don't think they expected me to have maps or anything for them.
Ooh, you have traveled far.
Woodcut characters of just the class types on sort of just a shadow figure body, and they lost their mind. So no way. And I was like, you can't take them home.
They are mine.
Yeah, they're mine forever, but you can look at them.
Yeah,
you can appreciate them while you're here.
This shrine is dedicated to Crotus Punchus, the patron god of critical hits.
I gotta say that was a very appropriate D&D based conversation for considering the game we're playing.
I can barely see a thing.
Well done, team.
We did it.
Totally did it.
Oh.
It's blurry.
Yeah.
Getting a real contains a shrine piece vibe from that dungeon over yonder. You spy a poetry page. A poetry page wafts upon the wind nearby.
Oh, a poet's not unlike a hero, though we rarely take on any quests.
For the rest of that poem, simply walk your little leggy legs to the tavern in Brighthoof.
Money.
Money.
We're so rich. We're the richest people here, Brian.
Definitely the richest people here. Ooh, these little houses.
Peasants. Get out of here.
It is, honestly. Ooh, how'd you get behind there?
Can't you see we're high-class adventurers?
Yeah. This is for high class only. Oh, I guess I can go through the grass here.
What did we want to do? I know Rob's not here.
We wanna... Yeah, should we wait to do any more big story stuff?
Yeah, maybe.
I feel kind of bad he had to work through the...
Yeah, I do too.
I think we just did the skeleton thing. It wasn't like too big of a.
No, it's nothing too huge. It's just unfortunate that he had to. He was logged in, and his character was just sitting there, and he's in the background working away.
Yep.
Hopefully, though, it winds down for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Rob.
I'm sure it'll light up soon, hopefully. So are we going back to the town? Is that what the next thing is?
Here, we should probably go back, and we can spend all of our money and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can change clothes.
Yeah,
do
think
our
of all the stuff we've
banners.
unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Ah, look at that. Look at that gorgeous town.
I want that castle. Mostly because of
That
the
is
entrance.
huge.
Yeah, you know, I'd settle for the square footage. Whatever. There's a streamer I watch, Marcel, who his goal as a streamer and becoming famous and everything is he wants to buy himself a real castle. So whenever you're watching him or anything, he has his castle fund. Anything you donate goes to his
nice.
castle fund.
Castle fund.
And I
Brian's
can
gonna
respect
love
it. I
this.
can respect a guy who knows what he wants. Especially if that thing is a castle.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a good dream. It's a good dream to have.
It's a solid
It could have
dream.
been drugs, but it's just a castle.
Better to-
All
it's a
this money,
castle.
what do I spend it on? Drugs.
Drugs.
Too mighty for me to handle.
Ooh, we got
I
our
always imagine that's how Becky talks.
Becky.
Drugs. Yeah. No, Becky.
Becky is an
Becky, you've
adorable
been sober
cat.
for 2 days. Oh, thank you. I
That-
like to pretend I had some play in that, but I didn't. Oh,
worked
my
hard.
daughter is beautiful. Thank you.
That picture you sent the other day of her with her legs just dangling.
Yeah, I like that.
I turned around to my cat and I went, Frump, you have some competition.
Yeah.
Up until this moment, I thought you were the most adorable cat,
Yep.
but you have some competition.
She's such a good cat, too. Like, honestly, I feel very lucky because she was sort of like the sick shelter cat nobody came back for.
Yeah.
And, like, when I took her home, she didn't have a lot of fur and she had, like, a very serious bottom issue that required a lot of medicine and cleaning and baths and very
around,
sick.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's a complete turnaround, and she's just the sweetest thing and such a good temperament. So, I don't know. I just
feel
think
like
she's
that's
the
a
best.
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like certain cats, like the reason Frumpkin is called Frumpkin is because honestly, when we were at the the shelter, I'm having a hard time with words tonight. When we were at the shelter,
It's a rough night.
she looked rough. Like she wasn't taking care of herself. She wasn't like cleaning herself or anything like that. So she was all kind of gangly and puffy and poofy and
Yeah.
all this stuff. But she was so loving. Like you'd pick her up and she just loves to be held. So she like as soon
Yeah,
as I
just, like,
picked her up,
don't
she
leave
just
me.
kind of like
Yeah.
melted into me. And I knew as soon as I did that, I'm like, if I hand this cat to Morgan, it's the
Right,
cat we're going
absolutely.
home with.
Yep.
And I'm
Right.
like, that's okay. I mean, that's exactly what Morgan wanted out of cats. A cat that's going to cuddle with
Right.
her and
Exactly.
kind of be loving. So we brought her home and we're like, all right, she's a frumpy cat. Like she looks a little out of sorts. And we brought her home. Next day, 180. She is perfectly groomed. Like she takes care of herself. She's a gorgeous little cat. And I just think certain cats don't do well when they're in the shelter.
Oh no.
Right.
No.
And that just like it sounds like
It
Becky
affects-
had medical issues as well, but
Oh, they totally lied on her paperwork too. They said that she had been dewormed and, had been checked for mites. And like I could tell she was loaded with them. So I was like, we're just gonna take her home and do it
Yeah.
ourselves anyway. It was one of those things where it was supposed to be
Yeah.
a volunteer opportunity for Jen, and then we came home with pets. It's just
It's just permanent pets.
it's like you can't bring anything home, and then I brought one home. It's like we have to save her.
Yeah.
I think that's the trap with
Rebecca
all,
needs us.
all animal volunteer work. That's the trap. You're gonna come home with an animal.
Yeah.
Lee, I am just seeing your messages
good
now. I
cat.
don't
She
know
does
how,
like to
how
air
long
her
they've been
arms
there.
out a lot.
I see shelter,
This is a
so I
comfort
know
thing
it
for her.
hasn't been
Yeah,
super
the
long,
dangling.
but I don't know what
Yeah.
seems impractical means.
Arms are dangling.
She's so funny though, because I always joke that her and Kyle know perfect English because they just sort of do and they respond appropriately. Calvin's very much a barn cat that probably, like, he views this as a hostage situation, whereas we view it as rescuing. So it's just like very hostile. But yeah, like Becky, it's so funny. I'd be like, Becky, do you want to go to bed? And she like shoots up, starts barreling, and she like horse gallops to the bedroom and hops in the bed. She's stoked. She's like, yeah, I just finished my nap. Let's sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're on it.
Time for more sleep. Yeah, they definitely pick up. I feel like they pick up on the cues. Like, as long as you're like being consistent with things and like telling them like what you're intending to do,
if I could
they
buy a
usually pick it
castle,
up, which is kind of interesting.
I would
Yeah.
100% buy a castle.
Such
I
good
don't care.
kids.
I don't care
Good kitties.
property taxes or any shit. I will get it done. I swear.
Check my
It'll be right after this. I'm gonna go out.
here.
I'm gonna lock down everything, and I'm
Becky
gonna
actually
shoot you
just turned
all of my
3
character
a
info.
couple weeks ago.
Guarantee it.
So
End
she's
of
not
day
brand
is a
spanking
gray
new.
term.
Yeah,
My
she's
day doesn't
young.
end until like 2:30 in the morning.
But like,
and
I,
then it's
you know,
done.
we've had her for a bit now. But when we were prepping for the wedding and stuff last year, it was like the first time cousins and I and everybody were really together face to face. And they were like asking about Becky. And it's like, oh my God, she's the love of my life. Honestly, like if I had a soulmate, it would be Becky.
Yeah.
And I'm just going on, and Jen's sitting there. And my cousin Melissa's like, Jen, how do you feel about this? And Jen's like, it's my fault. I bought her the cat. It's just like, it's like I just have such a deep personal connection with Becky. And I just feel like if anything happened to her, I'd completely come undone.
She's my everything.
She's my world. It's like if she asked me to kill, in a heartbeat, doesn't matter who.
That reminds me of the what's that Brooklyn Nine-Nine sketch with Beatrice there, where she's got the puppy, and she goes, "I know exactly how you feel. I've only had this puppy one day, but if anything happened to it, I'd kill all of you and then myself."
Yes, that's it exactly.
And
it's perfect.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of those shows that just has the perfect gag moments.
I need to watch
Yes,
more of
Lee,
that.
Exactly that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's great until they got bought. They got canceled and bought by a new network, and then the writers changed, and it got
no.
weird. But up until then, it's a great show. I think they have cold openings, just like Law and Order or something like that. But they're just little comedy sketches every time. And they are some of the funniest things I've ever seen. There's one, I mean, I'll post it in the channel after we're done, because explaining it can't do it justice. It's probably one of the funniest bits of TV I've ever seen, and it makes me laugh, like snort laugh every time I see it.
I have one SNL clip like that I always recommend to everybody. But then, like, when they watch it, I watch over their shoulder, and I'm like, just like smiling.
And you laugh so much more than they do.
Are you enjoying yourself? Yeah. And I usually ruin it because I'm laughing so much that they're watching me instead of watching the clip. And they're like, no, you missed it. Now we have to rewind it. I'm like some psychopath.
Watch it
What skit is this?
It's Tiffany Haddish. The night she hosts, they do a video game tournament skit. And I don't know why, but I lose it every time, like to the point that I'm like just completely in stitches, like crying. And it's just like, it's so funny because, I'm not gonna say anything because you need to watch it without me interrupting you.
It's called Tournament Fighter, I think. SNL.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. You post that in the channel, and I will post the cold open for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh my god.
Because
I quote it so much with my brother now. Let's see, Tiffany Haddish.
I think
SNL.
Is it the one I posted in Discord? Maybe.
It might be. Let me go
Does it look
at
like
it.
Mortal Kombat?
It does. It looks like Mortal Kombat. You did it. Oh my god, great job, Brian.
Near that.
Plus 10 points of Brian.
Kind of want to watch it.
Do it. I'll wait for you guys.
Oh, we're gonna watch it.
I'm
real
gonna
quick?
watch this.
All right.
We could just watch it together. Yeah.
I am watching it. It has Pete Davidson, so it's got to be good. They're all in costume. Boo Boo Jeffries. Hey. Oh. Hey, K-Bay. Uh, sorry, I just got sent a SNL skit that we had to watch. Uh, hence why there is literally nothing happening on camera right now. How's it going? Have you still been playing? Lee, you still hanging around too? I kind of died off there. You guys can listen to my my party here as they watch this skit. It's SNL tournament fighter, something about Tiffany Haddish, which makes for very exciting content that you would be watching second person. Had a very active past little bit here. I think we were dying down for the night, so they needed something to excite themselves a little bit. Are you guys still watching the SNL one?
It's yeah.
Figures. My my one viewer of the night popped in while I had full screened this SNL clip, and I was probably just staring into my camera, making no noise except the occasional giggle. And I think that was weird enough because I'm just staring into the camera giggling. There's no noise because I muted it, so I wasn't playing the video audio. So it's just me breathing into my mic, giggling at the camera. No movement on screen at all. So I got a
Well,
hey.
that's a follow for me.
Yeah, I got a hey, and then by the time I noticed it, I'm pretty sure both that viewer and my buddy who had kind of tuned in both kind of cleared out of here.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But it doesn't it count that doesn't it track that, you know, we've been playing for 2 hours. The one time I pause the game and turn away from it. Oh hey, someone drops in.
I really like that. That was good.
I just love how she's like, no, and she just walks away. Oh, it kills me every time. You're about to get marked. Listen here, bud.
Tiffany Haddish, like, she had like a streak going there for a while. She was in all kinds of movies and everything. I don't know what she's doing now.
I think she's in a movie that's coming out or just came out
Yeah.
now. The Nicolas Cage one.
Oh, the
I want to see that one.
the something weight of unbearable talent, or
Yes.
oh, what is that called? Because that does look very good.
I'm trying. I think you're onto it. Whatever it's called is
The
similar
unbearable
to what you
weight
said.
of massive talent.
That's it.
That does look so good, because I keep seeing the clip of him and Joaquin Phoenix sitting there on the wall, like doing the dramatic, like, go on without me. And he gets to the other side. They're at the end of the wall, so they could have just walked around. And that level of Nick Cage overacting is exactly what I want out of every Nick Cage movie. And that seems like the Nick Cageiest movie they could have made.
I'm so excited for it. It looks hilarious.
Ooh, you know what movie I finally got to see? I might have already said this to you guys. I don't remember when the last time we played was. I finally got to see that Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my
with
gosh,
Michelle
what did you
Yeoh.
think?
I thought it was so good. I was so into it. I went to that theater, like, Morgan was out of town, my buddy was out of town, no one wanted to go see it, so I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to the theater by myself, and I did not regret it for a second. It was so good.
I had to convince Jen to go. She was like trying to decide between that or Sonic, and I was like, Jen, it's Michelle Yeoh. Like, we watch all her stuff, but she was like in tears at a couple points. It was
I
powerful, but
definitely
weird,
teared up,
and I liked it.
I love that kind of movie.
Yeah.
It was so good. I did not know
Definitely.
her husband
go
there
ahead.
in the movie was I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's from the Goonies, and he was, I think it was Short Round in the original Indiana Jones movie, where he was the companion kid. I didn't know that until after the movie. I'm like, how have I never heard of this guy? Well, I definitely have. I just not in like 30 years.
Yeah. Kuhai Kwan is awesome.
Kuhai
And
Kwan.
yeah, I recognized his face and voice right away because he looks so similar to when he was a kid. He
He
sounds so
really
similar.
does, yeah.
And like what a lot of people don't know is he couldn't get the acting jobs, but he was a really good choreographer for a long time. So a lot of other people's movies he was working on choreography for.
Yeah.
Because he's a good fighter.
Yeah. Never mind. I won't describe it because Brian, you definitely need to watch it.
Yes.
But there's a fight scene in there towards the beginning that it was just so cool, like so cleverly done. Honestly, I think his character is like
the best.
The best character. Like, he is the hero of the movie.
It's great because I feel like everybody is featured.
Yeah.
And they're all featured so differently.
They're so
but the
fleshed
cool part
out.
About well, I think I know which fight you're thinking of, and that one blew me away because I had to Google it afterwards. He did that completely himself in 2 takes.
Yeah. But apparently he was practicing it for like weeks.
Yeah.
Like, that's I was so happy with that movie. It was, yeah, it was so well done. So, like, you cared about every character, even the ones that in the beginning you thought you weren't going to. But it was so goofy, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, Brian, if you're ever looking for something to watch, I could not recommend that enough.
It's still in theaters, right?
I'm just getting
I think so, yeah. Select... no, I think they went full release now. It was in select theaters for a while where it just wasn't... I couldn't find it anywhere because I've been waiting for it for a while. And then they're like, oh, well, it comes out beginning of March. And beginning of March came, and it wasn't showing anywhere within like 50 miles of us.
Right.
Because that was the
everything
limited.
Pro?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. It looks like it's still playing around here, so we might push to see if we can see it really soon. I do want to see it. It looks really.
It was great.
It's just such an unusual role for Michelle too.
Yeah. She's always a very. I mean, it's got a little bit of her flavor in there, but she's always a very action-oriented, actress. And I have to like, what was it? Was she Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? I think she was the sequel as well, at the very least. She's just been in so much. She was Giorgio in.
Yeah, I liked her as Giorgio.
In Discovery, yeah. I liked good Giorgio, and I loved evil Giorgio.
Yes, same.
She's just been in so much her whole life. Like, even the early Jackie Chan stuff, that was her.
Yeah, that's who they wanted to be the star of this movie. This movie was originally written with the idea of Jackie Chan being the leading role.
I didn't realize that.
Of Everything Everywhere. And honestly, I think...
This is better.
This is better. Totally. I think it would have been a bad... I love Jackie Chan, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think this is the movie for him. Like, or at least what it became wasn't a movie for him. I don't think you could do better than what you got.
My pet names show up now.
So I can rename my pet.
You can rename the pet.
Wyvern Companion.
Yeah. Now it says Peter and Andrew.
I wonder if it says that
where
to
you
us.
change your clothes. Your clothes and your banner. That's where I did it.
Oh, it doesn't show their name.
You're always there when I need to pet something soft.
If you, well, for me, if you if you do you're on customized character, you should have that under the character tab.
Do I have a companion in this one? I don't think I do.
I don't know if you do.
I think this is my one playthrough that I don't have a companion. So, no one to adjust.
I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. 1 second.
Good. Honestly, this is already later than we usually make it. These type of nights.
Yeah, I might have to hop out a little bit, but this was a really fun session too.
Yeah, it was good. How have things been going, Brian? Are you still contracting right now, or are you doing your own thing?
Yes, I am. Basically, the intention is like gonna be doing my own stuff until probably like late fallish. I basically planned out like 6 months of looking at my own stuff, and then go back to doing some work command stuff for a bit, and then probably bounce back and forth. So I think it's just nice like being able to set aside the time and say like, look, this is gonna be the time I work on my project, and then as my like savings kind of like go down, start thinking about doing some more work command stuff, and just like kind of going back and forth. So I think it'll be a good like a good back and forth like balance type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
It's been going good.
that's great.
I was a little like unsure if I was gonna be able to keep up like the same enthusiasm that I like do my like working man work, like being able to do that on my own project, and
Yeah.
it's really not been an issue. Like it's like something that I want to like invest time into, so it's not like pulling teeth to like have myself do it. It's like something I naturally want to do. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
not really. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not really
There's
worried
always
about,
that difference between what you are being paid to do and what you're doing for yourself.
Right. Exactly. And for the most part, like I'm just self-motivated to do it anyways, so it's not usually a deal, like a big deal. And actually, I think because having like somewhat of a deadline, like giving myself a specific amount of time, I can kind of say like, okay, well, I have this much time, and then kind of plan out like what the objectives are to accomplish within that time frame, and then that just kind of helps like drive like the day-to-day stuff. Like, what's the goal that I'm working towards type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's been good. Enjoying it. Definitely a different change of pace. It feels like weirdly a lot of random stuff has been happening like outside of like what normally I'd be doing like work wise. Like I won't get into too many details, but like my parents are like splitting up now, so it's like
Oh, really?
and that this happened like, and it's not like a big surprise or anything. It's not like
Sure.
it's kind of something I knew was coming, but it's like all of these stuff that kind of goes along with it, like trying to help my dad like move out and stuff. It like kind of aligned with the end of my work at Working Man, like my last project.
Yeah.
And so it was like compounding. Like I was like trying to focus on like finishing up that work, but also like had this timeline. Basically, my mom wanted my dad out by like the end of March, and this like decision was made mid.
Absolutely. That's a lot to deal with. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Definitely. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's a lot to deal with, you know. Just the people in your life having their own things going on, and, you know, supporting them no matter who it is or what they're doing, supporting them through it is always just, it takes a part of you to deal with it. Yes. Sure. Inevitably, yeah. 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 It's always weird, like, I mean, we all go through the like the your parents are just people too, but it's still when you end up being the ones helping your parents do something, it is it's odd, you know? And that in particular is a big thing to help them deal with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. It's you hold your parents like in your mind. Parents are always like wiser. They're always they have their shit together more than you do. And then the older you get, the more you realize that isn't necessarily true. Yeah. The filter kind of comes off when they're dealing with their own stuff. Yep. Whew. Yeah. Well, hopefully that dies down a little more and you can enjoy your you time.
So I'm gonna get like plans for like doing a lot of plants out there, like getting some deck furniture and stuff. So it's kind of a cool. It'll be like it's like unlocking a new room in your house. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Or like when you're in a game and you finally get that last upgrade and
yeah,
builds it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do with all this extra space?
It's gonna be nice.
That's exciting.
We
Where
have a
did it?
floor deck?
Yeah. Where did it?
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we did kind of the reverse. We're trying to get the plants to creep their way up it. We've got like some clematis and wisteria.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to put a nursery under it because sunlight can still reach under it. And then the deck part is actually like the grill and the bench and our little observation area for our wildlife and whatnot.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I want to do is like get a trellis and just grow some stuff like vines and we have some morning glory on the side of the house that I'd like to like bring back and then I do want to get some like smallish trees to like put kind of near it so that when they get full grown and like blossom and stuff, it'll be like a nice view from the deck. So, and it'll also be nice privacy too. So
definitely
maybe like a dogwood, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Let's see.
That's exciting. Where did it build off of? I'm trying to picture in my head.
So you know the like sliding doors near the like if you go into the front of our house, there's like a small stair that goes up or down.
Sure.
If you go up, that's where like our dining table is, and then just beyond that there was a like sliding door with like a Juliet balcony.
Okay.
Which apparently they had.
I'm trying to mentally walk myself through your house. And I think I know I remember like the center like brick feature.
Is dark, so that
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's
Halloween.
been tried before.
Yeah. I can post a picture in the.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to see it. I love learning about people's house stuff.
Not after that incredible weekend we spent together at a schooner con. Call me.
Ooh. So do we want to do a side mission? What do we call it, or are we feeling on
I'm
time?
fine with whatever.
Yeah, I would do a side mission.
Ooh, I don't. I know I've done Crooked-Eyed Phil, but I don't remember.
I need to get a better. Hang on.
Do you guys have a preference on like location? This one, the GTFO, the Goblins Tired of Forced Oppression, is pretty good. I love GTFO.
That sounds good.
I love. There's the main goblin, the voice actor for it. I don't know who it is, but I think they are like. It just sounds so clever, like the way they did their voice. I think is really good. So.
I think you're selling me on the goblins.
All right, goblins, it
Goblins
is.
sound good.
Now I gotta remember where we need to go. Mount Craw.
Oh, I should sell really quick.
But yeah, let me know when you're done. No.
I just like emptied out.
fast travel.
Actually, let me just put stuff into the chests.
We're gonna have to go through the
Oh, we can
overworld.
store things.
I keep forgetting about that.
Ooh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. I have a bunch of stuff in there I wanted to look through. I only tend to store like my legendaries, like any of my yellows that or my golds that I don't want to hold on to. That one viewer. Actually, you know, it's the same viewer. Actually, no, it's not. I thought it was that viewer who raided me the other time we were playing, but it's a different one apparently.
I feel bad. I should have streamed tonight because I told my friends I would stream this week sometime.
Yeah.
And I could have killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Now I'm like, okay, well, when else do I do it? What do I show them?
Video game, I guess.
Oh man, Ugh.
Torture.
Really spreading myself thin here.
2 nights a week.
Ugh.
I'm trying to. The goal is I wanted to try to do 3 nights, just to try to set a schedule and maintain an audience to some degree. Maybe 2 nights. We'll see how ambitious I am.
Would you like to go pro?
GoPro? No, I don't think so. But I would like to grow like an audience around certain things. I've been doing the streaming here a little bit. But I'm starting a YouTube channel as well, where I've been doing a lot of the streaming and stuff. But I want to start doing actual videos, basically on the game industry, what it takes to get into it, what you can do to help yourself, things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Just maybe things based off my experience of, starting and going to school for it, and then trying to find a job and getting into the industry.
Calvin, stop. Sorry, he's tearing up my carpet.
You're good. But no, I want to do, basically right now I'm planning out my first video, which is basically like one of the, it won't be this exactly, but basically like a 10 things you can do to help yourself get into the industry, but actually helpful and not clickbaity. Well, not super clickbaity.
Nice.
But, so I kind of want to get that and then kind of use the streams and stuff to kind of engage with people from a dev perspective.
Do you do the surprise face thumbnail?
I have not made one yet, but I don't know if I'll be able to I kind of I find those so annoying, and I'm sitting there I know it drives clicks and I know it'll get people to watch it.
So goofy.
But I don't know if I can bring myself to take a picture of myself making a face like that and then post it online. I don't know.
I think I did one video I didn't take a photo of myself. I took a screenshot from the game I was playing where I was laughing super hard.
Yeah.
And I made that as the thumbnail. But it was one of those things where I was super happy with how it came out. Looking back now, it's trash, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
it's
Looking back on
it's
your
so
old
much
work is always the
work.
worst.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where I was still new to all the editing, didn't know what I was doing, and I was trying to do subtitles for all of us, and I color-coded each person who was talking.
Wow.
And I was like, why am I doing? Oh, it's just too much.
That's a lot.
And it was us. Yeah, well, it was like Left 4 Dead with just absolute chaos zombies.
My gosh,
no.
yeah.
It's a good video because it's the one where Becky actually gets me killed because she triggers a horde because she stepped on my keyboard. And it's check it out! And you just see her face zoomed in on the webcam and you hear and then all this zombie rage. I'm like, no, Becky.
Becky.
He's a troublemaker.
Yeah. She got a lot of likes.
That's good. I know
Not the video, just her.
Just her.
Yeah.
You know,
Calvin,
Vimy.
you don't pay any bills. Go on.
Vimy is
You keep going,
been
I'm
doing his own
listening.
channel, where he covers something called Renpai.
Red pie.
I don't know if you guys know what Renpai is, but it's basically like it's like a web novels. How it's like a interactive novel that you can click through. It's an engine based around that, and he's used it to make a couple games that he was really proud of. And so he started a YouTube channel kind of based off of his Renpai work and just kind of going over what he knows, what he can teach people, and he's getting thousands of views. He's doing very well for himself. And we were sitting there, and I think we were talking with Corey, and she's like, "You guys ever like thought about doing YouTube stuff?" And I was like, "Actually, I'm planning out my first video right now. I'm pretty excited about it." And Vivi goes, "Yeah, I've been doing it for like 2 months." I'm like, "That's cool. Like, are you getting hundreds of views yet?" And he goes, "Well, my last one got like 2,000." And I was like, "Damn, Vimy, what?
Really?
Just sleeping on this.
Yeah.
Doing pretty good for yourself."
I think I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a genre at all.
It takes
so nothing
a
was
lot,
really
yeah.
guided or directed at a group. It was just me being silly, and so like I would get like maybe 30 views, 10 views. It all depended on the thing.
I don't even
But-
know where with that. Like, how do you even get traction on a channel that doesn't really have? I imagine there's like tags or something. Like
It's
some way
really
people can
complicated. Like, it's
Yeah.
so much work trying to build that up.
Yeah. I feel like some of it is marketing yourself, and the other is just that chance. Like, did enough people catch that algorithm? You know?
It's luck,
To
yeah.
even see it.
Like, you can do great, you can do everything right, but if that spark of luck doesn't catch, it's not gonna hit. That's kind of where I've decided, like, I've always wanted to kind of check out streaming and give that a shot, and I just think that it sounds like fun. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking here, but then on the YouTube side of things, it's more of I actually want to make content that actually has some type of value.
Yeah.
And that's just how you do it, is you got to have a focus, something you're going to focus on. And up until this idea, like for like doing the game design stuff, didn't come until like literally this last week and a half or so. I kind of finalized on that. My first video on YouTube it was from a couple weeks ago, right before we went to Florida, where I kind of edited down some footage of me and my buddy Lee playing, and just this funny quest that's in this game that we thought was hilarious. And it's literally just a little snippet of us playing, and I think it has like 6 views because, you know, there's no intent behind it. There's no reason to really watch that versus watching a bigger person. So who's going to? You don't have a purpose behind what you're doing.
Right.
Also,
I
I
imagine
think
that kind of video would do well, like if you had an established user base. and
Yes.
just, like, want more, but it's hard when it's, like,
compilation videos of like your gameplay, kind of like highlight reels. Those tend to only be successful these days when you have a large base, people who are already like drawn to you. Those are the people who are going to watch it. It's not going to draw in new people. Where in order to draw new people, you have to have like a purpose to your videos, like a reason people are going to actually stop and watch them.
Right.
And
I'd say those compilation videos I made, same. Oh no, I'm sorry, guys.
You're good.
Yeah, like I didn't have a base or anything. Like I had the same couple of people who checked out my stuff.
Yeah.
But sure enough, every time those came up, there'd be those 7 views.
Yep.
You know, the same 7.
I've been very private about the fact that I'm doing this. I haven't told any of my buddies that I'm streaming or doing YouTube or anything except one, because you know, he's my best buddy. So I always tell him about everything I'm doing. He helps me. He'll watch all my stuff and tell me if the audio's bad or if I need to change something. So he's literally the only person who knows. So it's all like, at least the goal, like kind of like the challenge I wanted to give myself was just literally starting from 0 and not telling family or friends or anything, and kind of getting those not fake, they are genuine follows, but like just the going from scratch test, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to
It's
say
the best way
that.
to
Sounds
do
like
it.
I'm being condescending about family and stuff. That's
No.
not at all what I'm trying to say. Those are real things, and your friends and family are always there to engage. But it was just I want to try doing the
I honestly
algorithm.
think-
I
I think I would rather start that way at least, and
Yeah.
then like once you feel more established and comfortable, maybe like telling them about it. But like, it also adds like a weird amount of pressure, like knowing that like people that you know might be like just hopping in randomly and
100%. I'll tell you the truth. You guys and I don't mind at all that you guys are part of it. But that first time, like I went live after you guys had joined, I was like, oh shit, people I know can just join. And Megan, you did join that one time, and you start chatting, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't like someone I know.
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Like that's gonna happen. It always will. Morgan joined a stream one time and started talking to me, and that was also weird. It's just something you need to get used to. But it was
it's
like
not something you're used to doing.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
not. You're not. I'm like, you're kind of part of
You're not
streaming
anonymous, yeah.
is being anonymous and being basically you're performing. You're entertaining, and to not be anonymous but also still be entertaining is it's just a weird thing. And I just I think kind of proof of concept, proof that I could actually try that was to not have my family involved or friends involved until it was already like somewhat grounded, established, a real thing.
I have a habit of when I see people I know streaming, I just open a window and let their stream run, even if I don't have the time to watch, just to give them the views.
For
So
sure,
that-
yeah.
That's a habit of mine.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I do that. I've done that a couple times with some of the
do
people
like
that have followed me, and I'll follow them, like just as a to check out what they're doing, what kind of stuff they're working on, like how they do their stream. So I'll just turn it on. I'll put it on in the background and listen once in a while, and I'm not super
And the
engaged,
streaming
but
and the YouTube stuff, I regretted telling my family because my mom was convinced that, oh, she's gonna be rich. I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yep.
It's not how it works, Mom.
Yeah.
And she got
It's like
too
prayer.
into it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then like asking you about it later time, and you're like, I'm not even that stoked about it right this second.
Yeah. I think I told her. I think the most I ever made on a live stream was like $400. It was just totally random. The people that
not
were just
bad.
donating and jumping in.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is even happening? Because I was just playing some really weird indie mouse game, and like they were loving it, I guess.
Sometimes that stuff is what hits. Like, there's so many other places to watch like big AAA, big things. These little games, honestly, just are great sometimes. But it is always and I think part of the reason I feel more comfortable like kind of putting out the potential for a video is that no one I know is going to be the people to watch it, so I don't need to worry about it being bad. It can be kind of whatever, and people I don't know will tell me if it's bad, and people that I do know won't see it if it's that bad, because I'll get rid of it.
This bridge is as broken as my heart.
My biggest fan was this guy that we worked for the same company, but he worked for the Mexico division, and then he had immigrated, and we were cubicle mates. And I had known him before he immigrated, but Ismail, and I'd be like, Ismail. He's like, what? And I was like, take a look at this clip. And I would just send him like the most stupidest clips from my games the night before, and he'd be like, oh yeah, he's good. This is a good one. And I'm like, thanks, Ismail. So I should just, put it up as is. He goes, oh yeah, big hit. It's like, thanks. So that was my barometer for what was a good video or not.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Ismail.
As long as he likes it.
It's like, yeah, it must be perfect then if Ismail loves it.
There.
So far, my Ismail has been Lee.
Perhaps you could cross over it.
He'll always like
You
hop
got
on.
this, Lee.
Yeah, he'll hop on and he'll be my one chatter. He'll be my main views. Like I put that video up and like within like an hour I had a view on it. And I was like, oh, that's exciting. Someone watched it. I'm like, wait a minute. And I messaged him. I'm like, are you still awake? And did you just watch this? And he's like, yeah, I was kind of surprised how late you put the video up. And I was like, damn it. That's not a
He's such a
genuine
good
view.
friend.
Yeah.
If you'd seen my resume, you would have known that.
Have you seen my resume? If
Some
you
of the
look at my
one-liners they do in
resume.
this are great.
Whoa, where'd he go?
We can settle this.
Just stand there and look fuzzy.
Well, that's one way to have your dance together.
Ryan, you are just floating in the air again.
I think I'm stuck.
I can't even see you.
Oh, there we go. I just had to slide off it. Can you see me now? Oh, I'm like... Okay, okay.
What is going on? I can't even find the enemies. I'm just like running in a circle.
Oh,
Compared to the last group, these guys feel very underleveled.
it says they're 18.
It
might just be
does,
because of the side
but
quest.
they feel squishy.
Bullets beyond counting.
You can't reload. Can't do anything. There we go. Megan, when you stream, do you typically have a decent number of viewers?
When I was streaming regularly, I think I had gotten up to where I would regularly have 25 to 30, which
Wow, that's
isn't
pretty-
huge by Twitch means, but yeah, for a small streamer, that's pretty huge.
That's pretty solid, yeah.
Since starting back, I don't really have a schedule, and by starting back, I mean maybe I stream like once a month, once every 2 months.
Yeah.
I'll usually have like 5 or 6, and yeah, it's the usual friends. I think there was once where it jumped up to 11, but I think it's just because I was giving an in-depth review of Tavern Master, which had just come out that week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, a lot of people were like watching me do the gameplay, and I was kind of. It's fun to watch. Because when somebody is upset, you have to try and figure out why and what you have to change about your restaurant. And I may have gone into a bit of a tirade, which the people who do watch me like that. And I was all like, this is what's wrong with capitalism. I have a fully staffed restaurant, everyone's at max pay, and I'm doing fine. That was basically what I told you, Brian. Separate Discord channel. It's like everybody wants to work, they just don't want to work for a terrible boss. And I just told them this is how I'm structuring my restaurant. Yeah, when I streamed regularly, there was a lot of game, pause. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, and then I would do like a brief time, then we go right back into the game after a little bit of discourse.
Yeah, that sounds solid. I think like I was saying, the scheduling is what I gotta work at. Being actually on at times.
I find that's often the biggest indicator of success, is if you have a solid schedule and you just stick to it.
Yeah.
People are they're gonna return when they know when to expect you.
Yeah. I think that's definitely like the followers I've picked up, you know, that have come back. It's because I tend to only stream during the same time period. Not consistent on days or anything like that, but, you know, I stream like, I think the target time period will be like 9 to midnight, because I'm usually gaming at that point anyway. You know, I can consistently be available at that time period, so this works.
There's definitely a streaming sweet spot. And, like, I know when I had a bunch of schedule changes before the pandemic, I just couldn't even meet it anymore. Because too much work, I needed to relax when I got home, and in the late evening, everyone's playing their own games.
Yeah, if you force yourself to and you're not feeling it, it's not gonna... That kind of
Oh, yeah.
As well, so you gotta give yourself a break.
Not even worth harvesting for soul nectar.
But I
Yeah,
think for the
I know-
most part, like, at least with me, like, even if someone, like, hasn't been on for a while and I see them on, I'll usually, like, if I like them, I'll hop in. It's not... I think if people like your content, they'll, like, and they're following you, usually they'll hop in. I feel like,
Yeah.
right, depends on
Especially once you make any type of community where you start like to actually like have a discourse with them. Yeah, I know the sweet spot is like in the afternoon. Like a lot of people will tune in. That's a big uptick for a lot of
Okay.
viewership, but I just know that's never going to be a time period that I can work with. And like I was
Right.
saying before, I don't ever want to go like, the plan isn't for like, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. That's not why I'm doing it.
The blueprints are yours.
So I don't mind if I have a cap that I can hit with a later
Right.
time frame.
Enter portal.
When I did kind of set up here and get my PS5 and have like, I guess what you would call a return stream. That's basically what Brian talked about. I experienced. I was so excited because like all these people hopped in. They're like, "Oh, we haven't seen you in a while, so we want to come see you." I'm like, that's adorable.
That feels real good.
It does. Let's see what hero stat now we want to
My
do.
prince! I can't thank you enough,
Oh,
hero.
this one.
I love these blueprints with all my heart. And I do mean romantically. No room for interpretation. I'm in a polycule with my
These
blueprints.
maps are my soulmates.
To repair this here magical bridge.
I genuinely had to look up what a polycule was the first time I heard it. I had never heard that word before.
I know I'm old now because there's terms I can't keep up with.
One magical
Yeah.
rainbow bridge from my family to yours. Have a nice day.
Obviously, in the privacy of my own home, I said this, but I leaned over to my brother. I was like, I remember when there were only 3 types of gay, and he was like, he's like, okay, we get it, Megan. It's like that was only the 3, Sean. You better know what you want. He's like, please stop, go away.
Ooh, oh no, no. Oh no.
Ooh, a goblin. I
Oh,
didn't
it's
even know
what we
there were
wanted.
goblins in the overworld.
I didn't either.
Incinerate!
I would argue these are more of hobgoblins.
They are a bit. Especially this one. This one's a troll. They are a little hobgoblin-y.
Boom!
Especially this guy. Oh, there's an imp. That I can get
I
behind.
hate imps. Chopper. Not to bullets. Ouch. Oh, we both shot each other. His was more effective. Where'd he go? That was an amazing power slide, and I wish I was recording. Oh, I missed it.
The lead well
Ooh, I'm out of ammo.
Slide in to save the day.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Someone shoot this sheep. I can't. I'm fully out of ammo.
Where's the
Wait,
sheep?
I picked up 12 rounds. Oh, it's not enough. No!
I ran out too.
I've never run out of bullets before in this game. I didn't know that was like an option.
I've run out several times tonight.
Tonight specifically.
It's been mostly tonight.
The one like lasting effect of COVID, aside from being a little sleepy, is I just randomly have to sneeze sometimes.
Yep.
Ugh.
That actually did happen to me after COVID. The random
Sneezing?
sneezing. Yeah. I had it very, very bad though, because this was all like early 2020. There was
Ooh.
no vaccines for us.
Yeah.
Caught it from a nursing home moving my grandpa.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, oh god, it's the plague one.
Was your
And
grandpa okay?
yeah, it was. No, actually, we were very frustrated by this because he was in assisted living, but he was in the early stages of dementia. So we needed to get him into a more protective one, and this one had like monitors and things like that. They did not disclose that somebody there had COVID, and it spread like wildfire through. I caught it, my mother caught it, my sister caught it, and my grandpa actually passed away. We were like, oh my god, you know, we made a horrible decision to move him. But at the same time, you know, a lot of people are talking this like, this is better than him going through the rest of the stages of dementia.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry to hear that, though.
it was,
Yeah.
oh, I appreciate that. It was surprisingly quick. It was like a week, and
Yeah.
we were so sick. I felt like I was dying for like a solid 2 weeks. It was really bad. Lost smell, lost taste.
Oh.
Couldn't take a deep breath. Yeah. And that's the worst because you guys know I love eating. So
That's tough.
that was
So rob
really
you
bad.
of your taste of taste. Your sense of
Yeah,
taste.
well, there's a weird alienating feeling behind not being able to smell, and I did not expect that to bother me so much.
Right.
But I think also like that, well, that's subconscious of if my house is on fire, I'll never know.
Yeah, that's weird.
And like I could smell nothing, and I would like hold candles near my face. I would blow matches out just to see if I could get a whiff. Nothing. Horrible.
Yeah, I can't complain at all. I just had a sleepy, achy, and the next morning I was relatively fine. But a vaccine
those
and 2
vaccines help.
boosters will do that.
Definitely.
I'm actually gonna. Ben's watching a little Futurama. I was gonna watch a little bit with him before I go to bed. So I might actually stop here. But if you guys want to keep going, this seems like it'd be fun.
Tell Ben we said hello.
Yeah.
Was tonight his D&D night?
Hi, Ben.
Yeah, he just finished. I'm trying to think. He's doing. I'm gonna get it wrong if I say it, but he's doing a D&D campaign. But yeah,
Based off a book?
he's really enjoying. Yeah.
One of those.
He was doing the Icewind Dale. Wait, no. Neverwinter. Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale, yeah.
Campaign for. Yeah.
That's one of
I've
the
done that
very
one,
popular
yeah.
ones, yeah.
It's really cool with like the it's like the Snow Witch or whatever. Something
Yeah.
like that. Really cool. It's kind of like sandboxy too, which seems like a really cool like element to it, but a lot of cool content. But
That's the one where I ended up in a murder hobo group, and I was very terrified for my life.
Oh no.
Yeah.
sounds fun.
You end up in one of those every once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Just want to kill
Yeah.
everybody, and you just gotta kind of sit through it.
Sometimes you gotta, yeah.
These
Or you
were-
fully
yeah,
engage, and
Just like
the
commit to
DM's
it.
friend and his girlfriend, which we didn't know, and his
Oh.
girlfriend was kind of crazy. Like she tried to kill me, like set me up to die, and I'm like, "What are you doing? It's the first session." Oh my god.
it's not how you play this
Do not do
game.
this.
Yeah, I know we can't technically win, but this is definitely losing.
This is not how it's supposed to happen.
I know. I just kept going. I'm not having a good time. I'm not.
Do not do this. Yeah.
Oh man, I never played with her again.
That's probably a
the one
good
and
call.
only time.
We've had a couple people like that. Unfortunately, one of them was my brother.
Oh no.
Yep. That was when
sorry.
we were all brand new, like at the table, and he just had a thing that he wanted to do, and the rest of the table was like, "How about we don't do that?" And he was very committed to his bit.
Oh man.
And he doesn't play with us anymore, which is
Yeah, that's
probably for the
not
best.
good.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
All right.
She kind of said the same thing. She's like, "Oh, this is what my character would do," and I'm like, "Well, your character probably should not play with those then."
Yeah, that's always the worst excuse. That's what my character would do. We'll make a character that actually wants to be here and have a good time with us, because that's what we're here for. Maybe not a good time, but someone that can work with us.
Thankfully, my character survived, but I really thought I was going to lose her on that first session, and I was so proud of her.
Yeah.
She's this little tiny gnome cleric who was like probably 400 years old, and she sounded like Mrs. Doubtfire, and she had a pet chicken that was technically dead, but she kept doing spare the dying on it so she wouldn't be alone. So it's like this featherless, nearly dead chicken.
Keeping like just the worst looking chicken alive by like the thread. A valuable
yeah, and
pet.
she would just keep talking to it, and it was such a good character. But every now and then, like the whole game would just get completely sidetracked with, are we going to die, and is this girl going to rob us all?
Is she gonna take my chicken?
She stole my character's glasses while she was unconscious and left her in a locked building where none of the party knew I was down, nor knew how to get into it. And it was through much deliberation and me being on like my last saving throw that my friend who was in the campaign was able to urge to people that he would know something was up that since I'm not back.
Yeah.
And he was then able to go look for me and save me. And I was like, that was terrible. I was
That's
I was a victim the whole time.
that's real bad, yeah. Like the intent
And
was
there was,
to
like-
kill you.
Yeah, but there was like also no real reason or rhyme behind it. There was no setup to it, and I had just saved her from something, but I had taken so much damage, and then she used me as a shield, so I took the rest of the damage and was
no.
down. Then took my glasses and left, and I'm like, what? And she's like, that's just what my character would do. And I was like, I don't want to play anymore.
Your character is a bad person.
It is.
Just the worst.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
My brother was not that bad. He was just a problematic, like, rogue. The typical problematic rogue. Trying to break in everywhere,
Aw.
steal everything from everybody. He very much, he ascribed to what I call meme D&D, where you just try to do the goofiest thing you can just for the sake of doing it to be goofy, which can be fun once in a while, but then when that's all you're doing the whole session, the whole thing, you burn it out. You kind of you
It
overexpose them to the comedy, and it doesn't work.
I'm trying to find that balance with my own rogue right now. She's I very much made her a cliche on purpose, where she's a half-elk, not half-elk, that's a deer, half-elf rogue. Yeah.
That would be
And she's
would be a unique character though. If you were a half elk, like
I'm half-elk and
is
half
that-
lady.
is that basically like oh, what is it? What is Fern in the new campaign?
She's a fawn,
A
yeah.
fawn. It's basically like a really weird fawn. But the upper half has to be the elk, or it doesn't make sense.
It would just make conversation that much better, I feel like.
It really would. You would if it was a lower half elk, you'd just be a fawn, and no one would really know
Yeah. they're
what
not
your
gonna
parentage
know.
was.
Oh man, I gotta do that now. That's a good one. I try to do like that's the people I play with are used to be making odd combinations or
Yeah.
very different characters, and like this is one of my cliche ones. And she does have kind of a cliche backstory, but I'm trying to make her likable and interesting. So she actually doesn't talk much in the campaign until things come up, and then she has her little witty banter.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be, I don't want to say evil. She's not a bad guy, but she's not a good person. But she likes her group so much that she just looks out for them a lot.
See,
And she's more
that's a
so
good
using
way.
her charm.
Yeah, that's a good way to play a character that's ambiguous in their moral leanings. Is they like the group, so they stick with them. Instead of the,
Yeah, so
I'm evil,
she's-
so I'm gonna murder you every 10 minutes.
Well, against her better judgment, probably. She's made a lot of good decisions because it makes them happy, but also they're doing a good job at guilting her
Yeah.
sometimes to do the right thing. But like she still has her moments because the guy who's the bard, who had his teeth pulled, he plays a very, very young, roly-poly dragonborn kind of kid.
Yeah.
And he's very wealthy and he's not good with money, so every time we get paid he's like, well, here, why don't you take my share? And I'm like, certainly, thank you. And I never turn him down, and I pocket it, and every time the other guy goes, why do you do that? I'm like, hey, it's better than I'm losing it, it's all right. So I've just always got this kid's money, but at the same
Surplus
time I'm
cash.
not robbing them all the time. Yeah.
So
They're a
it's
fun group.
it's like robbing by omission, like lying by omission.
Exactly. You've got it.
My one of the reasons my buddy hopped into my chat is because it's his campaign that's starting on Monday, and I still haven't finalized my character. And I told him I would have it done by the time I went to bed tonight. So he got in and he goes, there's only technically 1 hour until the end of the day. And I was like, Lee, I promise you, as soon as I'm done here, I will send you something for my character tonight. I have like character class and all that stuff. He just wants like backstory and things like that to help him flavor things. I haven't decided on the race yet. Her name is Mirage, and she is a archaeologist.
I love it already.
And she is, there was an accident on one of her digs, and now she's a wild magic sorceress. So kind of fully embracing the chaotic magic. So I've got to come up with...
I love it.
I got to come up with the backstory and everything tonight and get him that. Because he's
you be
very
doing that,
excited.
Zane?
I will be doing that for sure at some point, because I've been putting it off a long time. We did session 0 like 2 weeks ago, and he got all planned out and everything like that. And I'm like, Lee, I swear, like I'll have it to you in the next week. And it's been 2 weeks since then, so I swear it's on its way.
Sounds like my players. All of my players got me their character info like 2 days before we were gonna play.
It is. Did their backstories end up having much to do with the first session, or not really?
Some of it I have people do pre-rolls a lot too.
Yeah.
And I would say one of them, his goals and ambitions line up with where they're going to be. And he realizes that. The only thing is to get said knowledge and equipment, he rolled so high in advance that he's already got basically he's already got a pistol. He's trying to learn how to modify, make it better, and make different ammo.
Yeah.
And his character's just insane. Like, the build is so impressive that, I don't know, like, he just has great rolls. Then we go into actual gameplay, and he actually went down one time, and I was so surprised because of how good his stats were. But
yeah.
My other player, who's actually Jen, she rolled pretty okay, and for some of her goals, again, this location and setting can help her reach those.
Sure.
And then there's just Chelsea, who, since she picked like an Eladrin elf, she's originally from the Feywild. She doesn't really care to know much about the common world or Candlekeep or anything. She kind of just doesn't give a crap. So she's along for the ride, kind of like Fern.
So they rolled for their backstories, or you're saying rolled for stats?
They made their backstories. They rolled for what they know about some of the setting they're going to be in.
Interesting.
I had my brother roll because he's a traveler, and because of the way he set up his backstory and what he wants to do, and I was like, it's very much likely that you would be heading in this direction for a specific reason. Do you want to explore that? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, roll. I had him do like a history roll, and I had him do a couple of, based on what he wanted to know about, specifically technology-wise, do a couple intelligence rolls. And then I broke down what he already knew about the Candlekeep repository from word of mouth. And I broke down, okay, well, you would probably already know this about your goal, that, hey, you need certain charts to enhance this pistol. You know that you need to have what compositions go into the bullets to do the thing you want to do. So you know what to research when you get there. Like certain setup stuff like that. But then poor Chelsea, she just really did roll bad, so she had no clue where she was going.
pretty
no
oblivious.
clue what she needed. Yeah, she just followed them along, and like Jen rolled pretty well about Candlekeep, but not so good on like the Arcana stuff. So she has no clue how it functions, the upkeep, the security, or anything. She just thinks it's a library. And she wants to go to the library for a completely different reason than my brother. So these pre-rolls kind of helped them rein in on their backstory, because they didn't really know where to go with some of it.
That's pretty legit.
Sometimes doing that helps people out.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but that sounds like a great idea.
I got that from my DM.
Yeah? I might have to try that at some point. I definitely didn't do that on my end.
It helps you too.
It sounds 100% like it would.
Yeah, I feel like I remember their backstories and goals a lot better when I work them through with them and have them do a few rolls for it. also, even though we play in person, I manage like all of our notes and channel stuff in Discord, so
Sure.
we do our recaps there. They can continue like in-game RP outside of the session in Discord in their in-character chat channel. And then I do my note-taking in private little DM channels. Calvin, I swear to God, are you gonna replace the carpet?
We do in person as well. I definitely, I don't think most of my players, one of them definitely has the background in the D&D and that kind of stuff to kind of comprehend that. I think they'd be good at, like, able to do that now, but when we first started, they were one of them was, like, literally he had never played D&D before, but wanted to sign up for the campaign. One of my guys doesn't really do backstories. He leaves it very vague. And then one of them, I got like 6 pages of backstory, and that expanded over time. But what actually worked out really well is my brand new player, who I had never met before we started playing together. Great guy. He fully embraced it. Like, I was expecting him to not be really sure what's going on. And then I got a message from him, and he's like, well, I accidentally wrote like 3 pages for my backstory. Is that okay? It's a lot to read. I'm like, Scott, that sounds amazing. You fully took me by surprise. And he wrote it so that like he had a definitive backstory for himself, but he left so many openings. Like, he lost his mom when she was young, so he doesn't know anything about her. He's like, you can do what you want with that. And he just left me all these openings. Well, basically I worked his mom to the story, where she's kind of like an elder dragon that kind of like helps rule a land that they have discovered. And there's this whole backstory about like the council that she's on was betrayed, and this evil dragon who betrayed them supposedly killed her. And it was going to be this big reveal because Scott didn't even know his character was part dragon and all this stuff. He had hinted that it'd be cool, so I had this big reveal. And then one of my other players, their character died, and they had to make a new character, and it was right before this big reveal was going to happen. And he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, I want my dad." He didn't know anything about this dragon stuff, and he goes, "I want my dad to be an evil dragon." And I'm like, "Tell me what? You want your dad to be an evil dragon?" I'm like, "Jamie, how would you feel if I told you I've already got your dad planned out, and you can just fit right into it?" Because he's the one that doesn't do too in-depth of a background. And I'm like, I have the perfect setting for this already. So without even intending to, one of my players, their evil dragon dad, killed the mother of another player who, like, he had never met his mother, and now he's set to inherit her kingdom and all this stuff. And it was just this like perfectly placed drama between characters that like I couldn't have intentionally planned out if I wanted to. They just kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You have to tell me what happens.
It was very exciting. We cut off right as this was all kind of coming to a big climax. We kind of stopped, and then there was a break week where like we had to kind of take off, and then all of a sudden we have a 5th player who hasn't played in years, and we decided to do a 2-shot kind of in the world of their campaign, but everyone's playing new characters. So it's been like a month since they were able to play this storyline right at this climax with one of my characters' backstories. One of my players' backstories.
That's
so it's been
intense.
It was very intense. We left it off on like this. They met the big bad's evil army, and like it's all this like invulnerable enemies and stuff like that. Not to get too in the weeds, but it was a lot of fun.
No, I love stories, so anytime. Like, my favorite thing to do before my younger brother started playing was anytime I finished a session, I'd go to him and I'd be like, "Guess what happened last night in our adventure?" And he'd be like, "What?" Tell him everything that we did. So I love that kind of stuff.
And he plays with you now?
Yeah, now he plays.
Yeah.
I ended up pulling him into the party that I was playing with for almost 2 years, but now our DM's pretty much on a forever hiatus.
Yeah.
Due to schedule and work and stuff. But that was a good 2-year campaign where somewhere our beautiful characters are stuck up on a frosty mountain with a cursed sword, waiting to see what happens next.
They may never know.
We may never know, but He's been in a couple one-shots that my friends have put on with me, and a couple of my own, and now he's in this campaign, and this is my first full campaign that he's going to be in. And I'm trying to throw little Easter eggs in there too from the one-shots he's done with some of our homebrewed NPCs, like getting little nods to them. And it's so funny because I forget that like nobody else knows those jokes, so he'll laugh and they'll be like, "What? Should we write that down?" He goes, "No, it's nothing you'll ever get to experience." And I'm just like, "Whoa, dude, you never know."
Hey, anything can happen.
It's just so much fun, especially when you get that deep into the stories and you can just start
Yes.
making things overlap and connect.
Yeah, it's I think, you know, this was my first campaign that I'd ever done, like DM'd or anything like that. So it took me a while to kind of like find my footing with it. And for some reason, I thought when I started that I shouldn't focus on character backstories. I should do like world building and kind of intro the story and the world to them. So it was like a solid like 4 months of really no character backstories. And I reached a point and I'm like, what am I doing? Why haven't I introduced like, I mean, I had obviously done a little bit of back stuff, but no, like wasn't a central plot line or anything. And the past like 4 or 5 months or so has been like, I've decided, you know, we're just doing your plot lines. Like that's the main thing. You guys will care about those. You'll be really excited by those. But it's still, every time I play it, or every time I run a session, it's very much a taking notes on all the things I just learned that I should actually do from here on out.
Yeah, I feel like I learn different ways I want to DM every session.
Yeah.
And that's something I think too, especially since I've seen, well, not really seen, I've heard of other people doing this with the Candlekeep Mysteries as far as like trying to bleed it all into one campaign.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like I can't just take it like one shot by one shot as stages in their adventure. I'm gonna have to have like filler episodes basically.
Yeah.
I want them to explore their plot. I want to make their plot bleed into all these one shots and really let them explore and kind of have fun with the fact that Candlekeep, despite being one location, is so freaking huge and there's so
Yeah.
much to do there. So I think I'm just gonna tackle it as I go, because what I've done before in the past is like what you were saying, is plan too much,
Yeah.
and that stuff may never ever happen anyway. So
Yep. Over planning
to
is
let them guide their own.
a real problem. Like you can really get bogged down by the details.
Oh yeah.
And I always plan for a session and they make it through like a quarter of what I had planned. And I'm like, wow, you guys are real slow or I am way overdoing it. But I've got the next month of sessions good to go, so.
Oh god, that's so funny you say that, because I think they got through what would be 50% of this, what's meant to be a couple hour one shot, which I knew they weren't going to finish it in one session, just from the pace that they were going. But it's so funny because like I'll be embellishing and telling part of stuff and describing it or whatever to try and set them into the scene so they know kind of where to lead off from.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's like, that's so great. Like, do you just buy that? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, do you like the book thingy to read that? And I said, no, I just made it up. She's like, is that what this is? Totally shocked. It had not occurred to her. I was like, no, the sheet gives you like a couple lines about each place and that's it.
Yeah. Here's the important
She's
info to
like, "Oh my
sprinkle in
God."
there.
And she's like, I feel bad for asking you questions now. And I was like, no, it's okay, because then I have to plan and that helps.
Definitely. Anything you have to build off of is good. My
Yeah.
buddy here, the last session 0, 2 weeks ago, was his first session. He's never DM'd before. So it was his first session, and he kind of opens up and he starts going into this monologue, and I'm like, I know a little bit about this book, and I don't remember this monologue being in there, but it has to have been in there. This sounds way too legit. And I'm like, but this is Lee. And he finished, and I'm like, you made that up, didn't you? And he goes, yeah, I just pulled it out of my ass. And I'm like, it sounded so good. Like, that sounded so legit that I thought there was a chance that it was written in the book. And that made his night, I think, that everyone thought it was like a pre-written thing.
Yeah, once you put your DM hat on, it's on.
Yep.
Public speaking 101.
Good. It's real good practice, for sure.
It is. I'm trying to do like also like story writing on the side, just for some own like book projects and stuff. And DMing gives me tons of ideas.
right? So are you're
Yeah.
interested in writing a book?
I am, like, I've wanted to do like a particular novel series that I've been toying with ideas forever, and then like some short stories, but I've had a couple comic book ideas as well. And it wasn't until actually maybe a month or two ago of talking with Brian, he's like, we need to keep each other in check on our personal goals. So I finally buckled down and started doing all these OneNote sheets. And then I'm going to eventually try to hopefully put it into an actual comic script.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to get Source Point Press, I don't know if you're familiar with them, to look at it and hopefully publish it.
They sound very familiar. What have they done?
They
What
do
would
a
I
lot
know
of
them
like
from?
they're primarily in the supernatural sci-fi genre area of comics, so they do like a lot of Joe Hill horror comics, like Basket Full of Heads, and they do I'm trying to see, of course now I'm drawing a blank. They do like Warcorns, which is like those warrior unicorns, lots of zany. It's not your, hey, here's the superheroes and here's the bad guys type comics. It's very, very creative.
Okay.
Super
yeah.
inclusive.
They did Griffin Saddle